All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. You pick it up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. And there they. Hey, relax. Relax. John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them there they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? So hallelujah for Yahusha and the word. You upset? I just said, are you upset? It's all right, bro. It's not the end of the world. It's gone now, bro. It's gone. It ain't coming back. Unless you like to eat out the dumpster. If that's the case, go ahead and dumpster dive. If not, chill out. So, all praises be to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Bless his Kadesh Shabbat. Let's pick this up in Matthew 5 and 18 and get the lights up. Matthew 5 and 17. Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For truly I say unto you, till Shamahim and a rat's pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of the least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the Malkuth of Shamahim. But whosoever shall do and teach, the same shall be called great in the Malkuth of Shamahim. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the Malkuth of Allah Shamahim. So we were talking about the jot, right? You remember what the jot was? Who remembers what character the jot represented? Look at it. She was paying attention. So let's go ahead and take it another notch. Who remembers what the tittle represented? Come on now, y'all can do better with the like button, man. That's done just to get the work in the algorithm. That's all that is. And then let the Lord do what he do after that. But you ain't really got to do nothing. It don't make no difference. Indeed, Dalet and Rosh. Dalet and Rosh. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Psalms 119, and we're going to look at Dalet and Rosh and the verses that are contained under that. And that allows us, because Psalms 119 is a long chapter. Psalms 119. So you need to come to verse 25. That is Dalet. On that one there, it says that you're praying for understanding of the law. That's how it heads it in this book. And the one I had, and these are mine, everything's head differently. This one's, and then for Yod, it was confidence in the law. But that's what them Caucasians got that they lay stuff with. Ain't that right, little boo? That's right. Verse 25, my soul cleave unto the dust, quicken you me according to your word. So what is the first thing that we have to establish? You say, my soul cleaves unto the dust. So pause. Check that out. That's little rose and leather and beaver butthole sweat. That's what Castorium is beaver butthole sweat. That's not good. I mean, that's the best way to put it. That's what it is. You get a little animalic. You like a little animalic? You like an animalic? Well, you still upset by that apple, ain't you, boy? That boy's upset. Ecclesiastes chapter 7. I'm just asking that nigga. He's like, that nigga's upset. Oh, not 7. That's my bad, y'all. I think it's 12. I'm tripping. I just was tripping off him like he is upset. You can pick it up at verse 1 with Ecclesiastes 12. After Ecclesiastes 12, Genesis chapter 2. You know we always going to do stuff. We're going to do it different than most. Give you a full comprehensive understanding if the Lord allows. I know it was something else we need to go over. Wherever you got to add this, don't. You just interject it when you're ready. Ecclesiastes 12 and 1. Remember now your creator in the days of your youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw near, when you shall say, I have no pleasure in them. You know what that take you to? See, one thing it showed you with Yahusha is notice of what the statement is being made, that you need to remember your creator when you're young. Not when the evil days come, not because the evil days ain't came, or that your years, meaning your life is about up, and then you say you don't have no pleasure in your life. See, one thing about Yahusha is he saw his father's face and remembered him for the entirety of his days. So that's where a lot of people get messed up at. I'm going to go ahead and run down some of them words in that. Now, one thing about it, son, I'm going to need both of y'all to keep yourself under control. Or if not, you're going to have to sit on the roof. Would you like to sit on the roof? What about you, sir?
Yes.
Oh, you would?
Yes.
I got a ladder for you. I got you. You can be accommodated. Now, if you remember, the word remember is zakar. That is to call to mind. Zayin, Kaf, and Raj. So you remember that the highest was subdued and cut on your behalf. You would call that to mind. What does that take us? Of course, it takes us to Isaiah 26 and verse 3 and 4. He that mind is stayed on you is because he trusts in you. For trusting Yahuwah is everlasting strength. See, you can't call to mind. See, a lot of people don't remember the man because they don't call him to mind. So since you don't call him to mind, of course, he's not going to be able to direct your path and guide your way and give you strength and weakness and all these things. And that just adds on to what I was telling y'all the other day that I told them brothers on Sunday and then reiterated to 2 other people after that. Sending verses to people ain't doing nothing for nobody. You know what I'm saying? You have to have conversations. See, and I'm not knocking nobody for doing that or asking for it. You're only doing what you're accustomed to hearing from other people. See, that stuff just used to throw me off. When people like, send me a verse, I'd be like, well, what am I sending this nigga? You know what I'm talking about? I'm going through something, send me something. I'd be like, nigga, that junk weird. It's just weird because most people thinking, you'll know what to send me. But if I send it to you, would you really understand? Would it really give you comfort? Or if you just thinking, if I just read, you know what I'm saying? I give you an example. Somebody told me, they say, I need you to help me out. You know, I'm going to get baptized and I'm finna do these fasts because I want to mentally and spiritually prepare myself for these fasts. I mean, for this baptism. Oh, that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm talking about? But it was something they mentioned that is different. And they would mention, I'm going to do a Daniel fast. Some of y'all know what that is. Or I'm gonna do this. See, there's no such thing as a Dan. Now, see, I'm not picking on her because she don't know the word like that. See, I do. So I can just give you some insight. You don't know the word like that. You know what I'm saying? The word tell you when you fast, you ain't supposed to be doing nothing but praying and focusing on Yahuwah. That's the only thing you need to be concerned about. Why? Because you're fasting for one reason and one reason alone. The text say to be heard on high. That's what you fasting for. You know what I'm talking about? So you mentioned, see, most people conflate what's in Daniel chapter 1 to be a fast, and he wasn't fasting. Most people don't even know that's book. See, y'all know that's book if you remember. So you probably don't even remember. You know, y'all remember why Daniel, quote unquote, took that fast in that first chapter? Y'all don't. Yeah, but why? See, this is why I go ahead until I tell the talking to the brothers about when I mean why. You could see something and say he ain't eat the food, but do you know why he didn't want to eat it?
And he was trying to prove that him and his people were now you're shaking your head. We heard.
The hunger and stuff.
Y'all don't recall a verse in Proverbs where he tell you to not partake in the king's dainty meats, for they are deceitful meats. You know what I'm talking about? But now that's not the point. Reason being why he declined it. See, he was following book. He just wasn't declining it for the sake of declining it. He recalled Yahuwah, so he remembered his creator. You know, that's not what you were finna. That ain't what you said. Well, you know what? You shouldn't have been deterred by that.
Oh well.
That's on you.
How am I going to be deterred when you're asking a question? You shake your head.
Shoot, I just was like, that ain't it. But you should have kept on going.
Well, it don't matter. I don't have to explain it anybody.
Come over here to Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 6.
I'm sorry.
Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 6. It says, eat you not the bread of him that have an evil eye. Neither desire you his dainty meats. For as he think in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink and say to you, but his heart is not with you. The morsel which you have eaten shall you vomit up and lose your sweet words. You know what I'm talking about? But look at what he telling. We already know Nebuchadnezzar had an evil eye. So he said, don't eat of his dainty meats. Because he says, a man think in his heart, so is he. So guess what? He already knows Nebuchadnezzar think in his heart that what? That he was God. That's what Nebuchadnezzar had going on in his mind. And he said he could eat and drink, and then he going to say to you, but his heart is not with you. Because Daniel already know how you go heart going to be knit with me, and you don't serve God, not do. You know what I'm talking about? Then he say, when you do that one there, he say that morsel which you done ate, you're going to spit it up and you're going to lose your sweet words. What that means, you're going to lose the word of God in your mouth because you done sat down with this man and ate from his table of these dainty meats that he likes to give. See, a lot of people got like that in that regard. Come over here. I skipped on one part. Pick up Proverbs 23 and 1. Back it up a little bit. Because it's the other part to it. And I'm only referencing that because people say that, but he was doing that because he remembered his creator. So because he remembered his creator, he going to remember the word. And when he remember the word, that's why he said, nah, just give me the post. We don't want none of that, what you got going on. Proverbs 23 and 1 says, when you sit to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before you. It's not that what Daniel did. This is the same token I've been telling you for years when you read Daniel and it said he bowed down and prayed 3 times a day as he did a 4th time. That's because that's what the book told him to do. See, a lot of people think, he just did that on his own. You don't got to pray 3 times a day. That's not no law. That man did that because that's what the word said to do. So that's what he did. It's really just that simple. You know what I'm talking about? So guess what happened? One thing I can tell you, if you praying 3 times a day, it would be very difficult for you to forget your creator. Shalom, man. Unless you just praying for the heck of it.
Well, the sweet words kind of be like the honey that was in the carcass of the lion.
No. It just talking about the word itself. He said, put a knife to your throat if you be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainty meats, for they are a deceitful meat. Because this is what Daniel would understand. If you sit down and eat of this man's fancy food, then he going to be able to hold that back over your head later on to get you to go along with his folly. And he chose, shalom, Brother Reynolds, he chose, I'm not doing that. But the only reason why he could be able to do that is because he remembers his creator. See, a lot of people, they don't remember their creator. So since they don't remember their creator, that's how you get caught up. Remembering your creator is to remember his directives. When you remember his directives, you're going to follow him. That's why Daniel did that. He wasn't fasting. He's letting the king know, I don't fool with you. And I'm not fooling with you. And you're not going to deceive me with some fancy food. See, it don't take much to get niggas. All you got to do is show niggas a fancy plate, a nice car, and some expensive clothes, and you can get a nigga to do whatever you want him to do. Especially now. Man, for some of these niggas, all they got to be doing is take them to Papa, though. They'll lose their brain. Take a nigga to Ruth Chris, they going to lose their brain. They be like, that nigga kept playing, that nigga, they all right. Man, he took us around here. Then he come back around with the game. And now you get put to shame. And now you wonder how you end up. Look here, man, we could just say that allegedly what they say happened in the music. That's all they do. They whine and dine them, boy. And then next thing you know, you won't take with a finger in your butt. You know what I'm talking about? You around here talking about niggas accusing you of performing homosexual acts. I seen people talking about that P Valley show, man. Niggas said they actually showed a man's phallus and actual anal penetration. And I'm like, well then. I mean, I've seen about the show for years, but I'm just not inclined to want to watch something about a homosexual strip club owner. Just don't do nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? Well, boy, I got to see that. I tried to watch Power once, couldn't do it. That junk didn't move me. Didn't seem real. I mean, it wouldn't move. I didn't say that people like it. I mean, it's like this is. She tried to watch Snowfall. Shoot.
I can't. A little too rusty and old.
Nigga, it was the 80s.
I know.
Keep telling that.
Come on back to Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Now, the other fast that Daniel did is what you see in Daniel 9 and 10. And he was fasting in that regard. And he said he only fasted for sweet bread because he wanted an answer from Yahuwah about a particular matter. So if you're going to fast, you fasting because you're desiring to be heard. So, and as you already know, how we discussed, when you fast, you're denying the body that which it needs. So if you can deny the body that which it needs, then of course you can deny the body that which it desires. Oh yeah, I've been to Benz for a lot of black folks is a status symbol. You know what I'm saying? But it's a status symbol of wealth. That's why a lot of dudes, when they get money, they buy chains, you know what I'm saying? And all this stuff to say, see, I have made it to be able to be on the financial level of the people who I'm trying to be validated by. So you've had that conversation before. Most of our people, they desire to be validated by Caucasians. You know what I'm saying? Now, we were talking about this earlier today. Now, they were talking about it on the peep right behind. And niggas were arguing about that. And the lady told them niggas, she was like, women are attracted to power. And I'm like, absolutely. I learned that at an early age. And I just used an example of that's how I was able to understand how pastors were able to have sex with the women so easily. Because they seen him when you look at a pastor in an organization of authority, you know what I'm saying? And then he's the person who's actually instructing. And instruction is seen as in a power position, depending on what you're instructing on. And that is attractive to women. And dudes know that. And that's why a lot of dudes want to be pastors and teachers. And Hebrews get in the word. And everybody want to teach because this gives them the ability to get women who normally would not talk to them. You know what I'm talking about? See, it's a lot of dudes that they know they can't get women, so they manufacture a sense of power and authority to be able to get women because they're deficient in other areas in their life. And eventually they get saw through, but by that time, some women end up being hurt to a point where they're highly disgusted. You know what I'm saying? Quite normal, though, happens a lot. You know what I'm talking about? But it was funny, dudes was like, that's BS. And I'm like, clearly you don't know women because I ain't never met a woman who wasn't intrigued with a man who, see, they looking at power. They talking about they take bad as power. That's how I know you don't deal with women too often. It's not that because you being a bad guy or a criminal doesn't mean you have power. There's plenty of criminals out here that women don't find to be powerful. I'm like, bro, you have to be in a power position in your life. You don't necessarily have to have political power or street power. You got to have some type of power in your own life. You know what I'm saying? And they find that attractive. Don't no woman want no man who ain't got. And then of course, Judah mentioned this, and I thought this was common sense also. Women will always yield to the race of men who have power in the society of which they live in. That's why a lot of our women say certain stuff about white men because they have the power. You don't have no power. You can't make nothing happen. And a lot of dudes don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? And then they make their whole life. I know Bella sent me that clip of Farrakhan talking about a man ain't a man till he get a woman. See, that's how you know that he's a beta male sent mangina. I don't care how much any nigga look up to this nigga. Because a man's manhood is not based upon whether he has a wife or not. You know what I'm talking about? Having a wife has nothing to do with manhood. Having a wife has nothing to do with masculinity. That's just a part of the role of manhood and masculinity and taking responsibility for someone other than yourself. But having a woman doesn't define you as a man. Because at that point, you're telling young men that they should make their whole life to be defined by their ability to get a woman and take care of her. That's not a man. You know what I'm talking about? That's not a man. Because if you put him in a room with other men who he has to lead, only standpoint that he gonna have is taking care of a woman. See, I'm a man because I paid all these bills. But are the other men going to respect him? You know what I'm saying? See, that's where that come in at. Like this here, well, I ain't mentioned that, but now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of dudes who want to teach the word so bad, they want to get out there, but they don't realize that other men don't respect them. So that's why niggas don't listen to you. You know what I'm saying? See, you're not familiar with that. There's a lot of young men, they done jumped out here, want to teach the word, and they feel like niggas gonna listen to me, but niggas don't respect you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what a lot of brothers don't realize. And I was telling her this other day, like niggas think niggas respect niggas because how they dress or how much money they got. When you dealing with men, men respect men based off of courage, based off results, and based off of honor. You know what I'm talking about? Character and standards that he holds. That's what men respect other men for. Nigga, that's little boy stuff. If you respect a man based off how he dressed, that's what little boys do. Oh, I respect him, bro. You see how fresh he is? Look at his shoes. You know, 40-year-old man respecting a nigga based off his outfit. You know what I'm talking about? That doesn't even make any sense because you got bills you paying. You got people you taking care of. I don't respect that. You know what I'm talking about? But if he's a man of honor, that's what men respect. They're going to listen to him. If he's a man of conviction, I'm going to listen to him. A lot of these brothers out here don't get heard because men don't respect you because they know that you are not a man. You don't operate on the standards of a man. Which means you ain't got no business teaching nobody no word. You know what I'm talking about? And a lot of dudes find that out real quick. But you know, it is what it is. Ecclesiastes 12:2 though. He say, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. And the door shall be shut in the streets. And when the sound of the grinding is low, he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. They shall be afraid of that which is high, fears in the way. The almond tree shall flourish, the grasshopper desire shall fail, because a man go to his long home, and the mourners go out the streets. Or even the silver cord be loose, and the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain of the wheel, broken at the cistern. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the ruach return to Elohim who gave it. So what does that mean? Dust to dust, ashes to ashes. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7 for another witness in that regard. That junk funny. That nigga say, man, these women. It's funny because a lot of dudes really believe like women just like criminal type dudes. A lot of women do like degenerates, but most women want a man of confidence, strength, and power over his life, which unfortunately a lot of men are not. You over there sleeping? No. Genesis 2:7. Yahuwah Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Now, what did we read from Psalms 119? He said, quicken me out of the dust, did he not? So let's take a look at something else. Hold on. Indeed. Let me go back to Psalms 119 because I forgot where we was at with that. Who you yelling at, cuz? Because we can go if you want to go. Shoot, I ain't scared of no baby. Remember, he say, my soul cleave to the dust. Quicken you me according to your word. Now, that second half, we already talked about that because we know that he rose him from the dead, correct? And what did he rise him from the dead with? The word. See, at the end of the day, that's what's going to give you, that's what's going to resurrect you from the dead, is the word. The word being in you and you in the word, that is what is going to give you life to come out of that grave. Now, of course, when you look at him, my soul cleave to the dust. Well, let's look at cleave to the dust. So when we look at cleave, you have dabak, that is to stay close, to be joined together, and to stick to. So his soul, his nephash, is sticking to. the dust, which is afar, which is the dry earth. So why is that the case? Because he was born in the fashion of a man. Let's look at Galatians chapter 4, verse 1 in that regard.
That'll go back to the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm. Because Adam, what we just read in Genesis 2 and 7, his soul cleaved to the dust. So you want to be made alive according to his word. Now, this was something that, again, I would talk to somebody because they're not aware of this. Y'all are. Y'all, when I said what I'm about to say, that y'all are aware of, that y'all don't realize that many people are not aware of. It sounds far out when you say it until it's explained. Like the tree of life, a tree of knowledge of good and evil was simply the law. But see, what have you been told to think about that tree that they ate from? That it was just this horrible, despicable, wicked tree that they ain't had no business fooling with. But in all reality and simplicity, there's no transgression, so there is no law, and the righteous have no need for law. What do you have need for law for? You're upright. That was the point of why it says, and you will not teach everyone your neighbor saying, know Yahuwah, for you're all knowing, because everybody would be righteous. There would be no need to tell somebody who has the spirit to know Yahuwah and not to sin. That is what you're going to see in the kingdom of Elohim itself. Everybody there is going to be righteous. That's another a point of, again, illustrating why there is a difference between the millennial reign and the Malkuth of Shamahim. Because remember, where does it say New Jerusalem descend from? From Shamahim. So that means that the dominion and rule of Elohim from Shamahim doesn't come until he make a new heaven and a new earth. Because what does Zechariah 14 tell? Because I'm probably just going to integrate in and out the differences while we going. In Zechariah 14, do you know what it said about the nations, Michael? Oh, you want to turn your head?
Right here, Daddy.
Don't turn your head.
Right here. Right here.
In Zechariah 14, he said, of all the nations that are left, that they must come up to Jerusalem every year to worship the king at the Feast of Tabernacles. And if they don't come up, what won't happen? In the chat, he said, if they don't come up, what is going to not occur for them? Or do I have to go read it for you? Look at you. He's like, yeah, you gonna read it for me? I don't really know what it says. I read it last week. I forgot. Hey, you got to stay still, man. You can't focus if you move around. How you gonna be a little Bible study if you ain't focused? Yes, sir. That is correct, sir. Zechariah 14 and 14. Ain't you a little Bible study? Ain't nobody else little Bible study. It's just you, ain't it? You little Bible study, ain't it? See, that's one thing I can appreciate. You let it be known what you got going on. And I respect that. Make sure you keep that going for the remainder of your days. That nigga told me, let me say, hold on. I need a moment.
It's a picture of my phone from Wednesday night. He put us some glasses and he was like, look, I look like the way. He was like, Wayne. He was on TV. I said, you do look like the way. That's funny.
And he tripped me out. I said, boy, you good? He said, give me a moment. I need a moment. I said, all right, man, shoot. Who am I to tell you to keep going? Zechariah 14 and 14. Yehuda also shall fight at Jerusalem. The wealth of the heathen round about shall be gathered together. Gold, silver, apparel, and great abundance. Again, this is dealing with what? The millennial reign. Do you understand how verse 14 relates in the law? Because it does. Who can tell me how that relates in the law? Because it does. While you thinking on that, give me Isaiah chapter 60, verse 17. You can make it verse 13. Nah, screw it, man. You can make it. It's going to be too much to delve in and out. I'll pick it up at verse 1. Because there's elements in Isaiah 60 of the millennial kingdom and the Malkuth of Shamahin. That's how I'm going to refer to it. It doesn't say the millennial reign in the text. That's just really the best way to describe it is you have the Malkuth of Hamashiach and you have the Malkuth of Shamahin. You know what I'm talking about? The Malkuth of Hamashiach is not the same as the Malkuth of Shamahin. What am I saying? The kingdom of Christ, the kingdom of the Messiah is not the same as the kingdom of his Father. There are differences. There's slight nuance that needs to be understood. You know what I'm talking about? They seem to be identical on the face. But one thing that we started on Wednesday night, this man faces, his eyes are too pure to behold evil, and there will still be evil on the earth when Hamashiach is ruling. That's why I asked y'all, when did Gog and Magog get destroyed? Before or after? Because there's a reason. Because the Father don't come to dwell on the earth until after Gog and Magog is destroyed. So that means that he'll sin in the earth because Satan was able to come out here and deceive these people in order for them to rise up and come against Elohim. And why was it sin in the earth? Because Revelation 11 and 17. Let me go ahead and get it to you right now while it's in my brain so it don't get out of place.
So the correct answer was before.
So what?
The correct answer was that Gog and Magog was
Gog and Magog does not rise up to try to destroy the house of Yasharal until we have been in the kingdom for a day,
right.
which is 1,000 years.
That's why it's a millennium.
Yeah, that's why people call it the millennial reign, but it's really a day. You know what I'm talking about? And there's a reason for that, because it gives all the nations one day to learn the ways of Yahuwah, who did not die upon his return. That's why it tells you in Isaiah chapter 2 and Micah 4 that the law will come forth for Zion and he will teach all these people his ways, because they're going to have to learn that they don't know it. Remember what it says in Jeremiah, that the Gentiles will come and say, surely our fathers have inherited lies. You know what I'm talking about? Like, these people have inherited lies. That's why I say in Psalms 18, as soon as they hear of me, they submit unto me. But actually that submission translates to something else. And we'll look at that also, because it don't translate to submit. You notice that the comedian chick who you don't care for too tough because she kind of aggravated, she done went viral because she talking about how she submit to Cam Newton, got all the rotten hoes mad. Yeah, she don't care for her. I don't say I blame her. She's kind of annoying. But she's from Florida. What you expect?
She's from Miami.
Yeah, she's
from Florida. What you expect? Lord have mercy.
I mean, and she's a mulatto.
Yeah, let's do that. I don't know about the Florida part.
I mean, she from down south. She act like a nigga from from down south. Yeah, but they've been going hard about that. Somebody say, why would she pick Cam Newton? Got 7 kids. Because that's a man with power in his life. Something you niggas don't understand. Because they were actually calling Cam Newton, because that's what the cornball niggas term is, to call every nigga a pookie, because he got kids from multiple different women. This nigga's not a street nigga. This nigga play football. Do you see how that nigga's dressed? A pookie nigga don't dress like that. That nigga just different. But clearly them people with them contracts they gave him, maybe they got him. And he had to, hey, you know what that boy said? The little boy they thought was crazy. 11 and 15, she had, Zoom bop, and they did all that to him, and he ain't been the same since. But all jokes aside, though, and it's only in my mind because the clip resurfaced. There was a time period, there was a dude who played for Carolina, and he was best friends with Cam, and that nigga disrespected him when he left that team. And niggas say what they want to say, but Cam showed himself to be a man because he walked straight up to that nigga. It was another nigga there. He told him, cuz, you can step to the side. I need to talk to this nigga. Had his hands behind his back in a non-threatening fashion, because nigga, you my homeboy, and I'm trying to get some straightening from you to see what's going on. And when the nigga acted funny, Cam said, all right, then bet. Like, all right, I'm done with you. But he handled himself like a man is supposed to. See, niggas could crack all them type of jokes, but you also got to remember one thing about Cam Newton. He was raised by his daddy. And as weird as that nigga may dress, that nigga don't act like no whole nigga, though. You know what I'm saying? He don't do it. There's a difference. That today, they was like, Dude saying, she said, a woman can't raise a man to be a man. No, you can't, baby. Can't happen. And it's only for one reason and one reason alone. I done told you that for years. That's why a woman can't teach no man how to serve God. Because a woman only knows her interaction with a man from woman to man. And that interaction is different than the interaction from man to man. A father's interaction with his daughter is drastically different than a father's interaction with his sons. They do not compare. They do not compare. You have no idea what it's like to interact with and garner the respect of other men. You can't teach your son how to do that. You can't teach your son how to lead men. You can't teach your son how to compete with men because you'll never have to do that. And if you have to do that, you manufacture a type of masculinity that you think will allow you to survive in that environment. But it's not. You can't teach it. Absolutely not. Can't do it. Revelation 11 and 15. That's why a woman can't teach no man about Yahuwah. How you gonna teach me about Yahuwah? You can't tell me nothing about Yahuwah. Absolutely nothing whatsoever. Not to where it could be beneficial that I can walk in the masculine essence of Yahuwah himself. You can't give me that. That doesn't make you a horrible person. It just means that you're direct and defeat. See, you know what a lot of people get upset about in life? They feel like that they should be experts in every area in life. And who says that's the case? That's never been the case. That doesn't make you, oh, Michael, you're horrible. You can't teach your son how to be a man. No, that's his father's job. I can't help him with that. Does that mean that a woman is a horrible person because she can't do that? You think you could teach Michael how to be a man? You have no idea what that means. She said, I didn't know how to be Lee. That's it. She said, I can help Malia out. See my name in her name, so she'll be like me. Don't talk to people. Don't want to be around nobody. Ain't that right, Lee? That's how you gonna do it.
She's here.
No, I'm just messing with you. Malia ain't like that. Malia like to talk to people. A lot. You said that's aggravating. Always blame the daddy. Revelation 11:15. And the seventh Malachim sounded. There were great voices at Shamahim saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his anointed, and he shall reign forever and ever. Remember what Satan offered Yahushua? What did he offer him? All the kingdoms of the earth. You can't offer me that which is already mine. You know what I'm talking about? So that's why you see all the kings have to acquiesce and come unto him. That's why he's called King of Kings. And the 24 elders which sat before Elohim on their seats fell upon their faces and worship Elohim, saying, we give thanks, O Yahuwah Elohim Almighty, which are, was, and are to come, because you've taken you great power and you have reigned. And the nations were angry, and your wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that you should give reward unto your servants, the prophets, to the faithful, to them that fear your name, small and great, and should destroy them which destroy the earth. Come back to Zechariah 14. Why is that important in that Revelation 11? What did it say the nations were? In that Revelation 11, in the last verse, what did he say the nations were? Y'all just heard it and done forgot already. Somebody got to leave. It's Michael.
Angry.
They were angry. What would they be angry about? Oh, them 24 elders, that ain't necessarily referring to anybody in specifically, if that's what you're looking for. That's 24 elders in Shamahim when it comes to that, but that's a whole another conversation. Really ain't much to say about the elders in heaven because it don't talk about them like that. Only thing you can akin that to is the elders that you've seen in the wilderness. But like I say, them elders in heaven, they don't talk about them like that. There's not much written about them. Y'all don't know why they were angry? No. No, that ain't why they're angry. It led off in verse 15. The kingdoms of this world have now become the kingdoms of Mashiach. So they lost their rule. They lost their power. So because they lost their rule and their power, this is how Gog and Magog are able to be deceived by Satan. You know what I'm saying? This is what I mean by this sin gonna be in the earth, because these people are angry about that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. Right here, 17.
Yeah, they were angry about that. Because remember, it said the kingdoms of this world are now become the kingdoms of Yahuwah and his anointed, and they angry about that. You know what I'm talking about? Remember, they take you back to that Psalms 2, how I say all the rulers of the earth have gathered, and the kings have gathered against Yahuwah and his anointed. You know what I'm talking about? Shalom, big time. See, a lot of people don't really pay attention to that. That's why these people are angry. You got to understand something, and it's not because he black. You know, because a lot of brews want to tell you it's because he's black. You have to put yourself in this mindset, right? You've been ruling. For however long you've been ruling, and somebody come and take your rule away. See, we don't have no thought process like that, because we don't have no mind of a ruler, so we wouldn't understand why you would be angry and upset about that. Because you went from ruling to being in subjection, when you feel like in your mind you're greater than the people who are now ruling over you. You know what I'm talking about? See, in their mind, they believe that they can take down Yahuwah and his people because of the hatred that they have for Yahuwah. So therefore, they're going to have hatred for his people. See, we don't seem to have that type of understanding to see that the hatred that they have for you ain't got nothing to do with you. They hate your God. And because they can't attack him, then I will attack you. It's just that simple. Zechariah 14:15. But the element that I was referring to, that the wealth of the heathen round about in the law, when you left out of Egypt, what did you leave with? No, you left with them people wealth. You spoiled them people. And you took of their jewels, you took of their garments. You ain't leave out of Egypt empty-handed. When you came into the land, you had took their stuff. Oh, you forgotten? Oh, come over here. She done forgotten. Exodus chapter 12, I believe. She done forgotten. No, you didn't bring the stuff you had with you in Egypt, but you left with their wealth, though. All the stuff you had, the stuff you left behind in Egypt is symbolic of the sin and the life you had, leaving that behind. You don't need to bring that with you, but you wasn't leaving up out of there empty-handed. Oh, no. Yahuwah made a promise of that. Come over here to Exodus 12:31. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up, set forth from among my people, both you and the sons of Yasharal, go and serve Yahuwah you have said. Also take your flocks, your herds of you have said, and be gone, and bless me also. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste, for they said, we be all dead. And the people that took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs bound up up, and their clothes upon their shoulders. And the sons of Yasharal did according to the word of Moses, and borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver, jewels of gold, and of raiment. And Yahuwah gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. You didn't leave to go set up in the land without nothing. You took their resources. See, the Father in heaven don't have need of resources, but as you're going to build a kingdom of your own, you're going to take these people resources. Psalm 68 for another witness. That page is gone. Psalm 68 and 26. Psalm 68 and 26. Baruch ye Elohim in the congregations, the Lord from the fountain of Yasharal. There's little Benjamin, their ruler. The princes of Yehuda, their council. The princes of Zebulun and the princes of Naphtali. Remember what is here, right? There's little Benjamin, or there is, let's just look and see what it says. Let's just do that instead. When you have little for in front of Benjamin, you have insignificant or young or youngest Sa'ir. So you have the youngest, their ruler. You know what ruler is. Ruler here, you have Radah, to rule, to have dominion, cause to dominate. And of course, this is referring to Mashiach himself, because in the eyesight of men, he was insignificant. I also mentioned Galatians chapter 4. I didn't go grab it. Remember, it said, though, that he that is a rule has rule even till the time appointed. You know what I'm saying? And the Mashiach being born and fashioned after the manner of a woman. We don't have to read it because I ain't say it right. So, nevertheless, then the princes of Judah, their council. So when we look at council, what does that mean? It's rigmah, and that is of a throne, a council, or a pile of stones. So what does this mean when you go to looking at a pile of stones? Well, that's when you will begin to look at the 12 pillars, which take you also back to what's in the law with Moses. And now you have the council of the pile of stones, figuratively, in regards to the authority that the apostles received. Let's continue. And then the princes of Zebulun, the princes of Naphtali. Yo Elohim have commanded your strength. Strengthen, O Elohim, that which you have worked for us. And look at what it says. Because of your temple at Jerusalem, shall kings bring presents unto you. Rebuke the company of spearmen, the multitude of bulls with the calves of the people, till everyone submit himself with pieces of silver. Scatter you the people that delight in war. Now let's take a look at that. It says till everyone submits itself. Now there's some things that are not there. When you look at submit itself, it is rafas, and that is to humble oneself. And what does that take you to? Every eye shall see, and every tongue shall confess, and every knee shall bow. This man say, rebuke the company of spearmen. Well, what does this mean if he's rebuking the company of spearmen? You're dealing with rebuke. That is to rebuke or to reprove, to chide. We know that he is coming to judge and to make war, and there will be a sword in his mouth, and he will rebuke the spearmen. Who are the spearmen? That is Kane. It also means branches, shoulder joint, reed, shaft of a lampstand. All of these different type of things. A spearman, a stalk. So you're looking at people who grow up to be a reed, a stalk, or the balances of things of that nature. So what is he coming to rebuke? Those who are of a company of men of false balances. Now he's coming to rebuke these men until everyone submits themselves or humble themselves with riches. And then he says, scatter the people that delight in war. So kafet, is for delight in war. Scatter is bizarre, that is to disperse. And of course, when you're dealing with war, the word here is karab, and that is battle or war. And you know that he came and slayed all, Revelation 19 is your reference point, all the men of war, scattered them out. And this is what Zechariah 14 is referring to, is the people who are left behind that weren't scattered out. Come on back to Zechariah 14, if you would. Now, again, all what we're looking at right now is stemming from tittle, because we discussed jot on Wednesday. So we're just looking at what it means, what a more understanding when he's saying what's not going to pass away. If I recall with the jot, what it was the yard, it was the work of Mashiach itself. That is not going anywhere. Now you're looking at Rosh and Dalet. So right now we're at Dalet, and you're looking at his sacrifice. So to heaven and earth, because this is the thing, this is why this is important. His work and his sacrifice is not going to be discussed in the everlasting kingdom. There will be no need to discuss it. Just like you won't discuss the Ark of the Covenant, just like the new heaven and new earth, the old heaven and earth won't come to mind for you. That's how this works. Back to Zechariah chapter 14. I think we are in, and I'm going to reference back to Isaiah 60, but it's a lot. So verse 15, and so shall the plague of the horse, of the mule, the camel, the ass, and all the beasts that shall be in these tents as this plague. It shall come to pass, everyone that is left of all the nations which came up against Jerusalem, and we already know that from Revelation 19, they all came up, shall even go up from year to year to worship the King Yahuwah of hosts and to keep the feast of tabernacles. You know why this is important? Because in Malachi chapter, not Malachi, Micah, it tells you that we'll dwell under the tree, the name of our God, and they'll dwell under the name of theirs. Which means these people not dwelling with us if they got to come up from year to year to Jerusalem. They not in Jerusalem with us. And he said, and they shall came up against Jerusalem, shall even go up from year to year to worship the Malik, Yahuwah of hosts, and to keep the feast of tabernacles. It shall be, whoso will not come up of the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the Malik, Yahuwah of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. Now, pause. Now we're going to go to Isaiah 60 and see why this is important. Matter of fact, before we go to Isaiah 60, go to Isaiah 49. We're going to go to Isaiah 49 first, because guess what? If that means that there's rain, guess what that means? Huh? No, he said that if it's not, it won't be no rain if they don't go up. So that means it's raining. So you know what that means if it's raining? That means you have the same heaven and the same earth. You know what I'm talking about? So keep that in mind. Isaiah chapter 60. All we're just looking at is the differences between millennial kingdoms, because some people will still die. Remember, he tell you that in Isaiah 65. Of course, we know people still gonna die, because Gog and Magog get killed and we got to bury their bodies.
I thought you said 49.
Yeah, I did. I'm thinking about the first. I'm actually thinking about what I referenced about niggas dying. Isaiah 49. and 8. Now, I know that some people don't believe that New Jerusalem is a literal spot. You know what I'm talking about? But New Jerusalem is the manifestation of the Garden of Eden on earth again. Absolutely. No crops or ability to feed themselves or obtain natural resources mean there would be a famine and they would die. Isaiah 49 and 8. Thus saith Yahuwah, in an acceptable time I have heard you, and the day of salvation have I helped you, and I will preserve you and give you for a covenant of the people to establish the earth, to cause to inherit the desolate heritages. What does that mean? He gave Yahushua as a covenant, take, this is my body, drink, this is my blood for the new covenant, for remission of sins, so that he could be able to reestablish the earth and cause those, this is Acts 26 and 18, that they may be able to be to receive an inheritance by the faith that is sanctified by me. You understand? So what he's telling you is that your heritage means inheritance. So what is the desolate inheritance? It is the land. So because this man is offered as a covenant for the people, you can inherit the land again. That's what that is telling you. Verse 9, that you may say to the prisoners, go forth, everyone who is in the grave, get up. And to them in darkness, show yourselves. Say they shall feed in their ways, and their pastures shall be in all high places. So what is pastures? Where they dwell. So where does that all high places? Jerusalem, in the city of Elohim, that you might have rule and authority. Listen what it says. They shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. See, this is what's in Revelation. You understand that, right? You know that, right? This is in Revelation chapter 7. You know what I'm saying? But look at what he's telling you. If there ain't no sun, that means the sun can't heat them up. That means there ain't no rain. So see, there's an element here that's dealing with the Malkuth of Shamahim and not the Malkuth of Hamashiach. Because it just told you in the Malkuth of Hamashiach, what will they be withheld from? Rain. Let's continue. And he said, for he that have mercy on them shall lead them, even by springs of water shall he guide them. If you know Revelation 22, the fountain of living water does not show itself until after New Jerusalem has come down from Shamahim, and Elohim has came and dwelt with men and wiped tears off of all faces, and there is no more death. See, how do we sit back? You got to understand something, right? When Mashiach come back, everybody who is a part of the first resurrection meet him and is changed. But everybody, we've had this conversation before. Everybody don't get changed. You know what I'm talking about? That's part of the reason why people say they're gonna be having babies in the kingdom, because they don't understand the opposite, the difference between the two. That's why dudes thinking, oh, you're gonna be in an everlasting kingdom, and you think you're gonna be hunching. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, no, sir. You won't defile anywhere where the Father is by ejaculating, because you wouldn't have any need for ejaculation, because he told you that in Matthew. You know what I'm talking about? But let's continue. All right, we don't need any more of that. What was the other place? Yeah, Isaiah 60. There it is. We're going to pick it up at verse 1. Because this is, again, referring to things in Jerusalem. And what you have to sit back and pay attention to is you'll see elements of Mashiach's kingdom and his Father's kingdom. You have to have the ability to make the difference between the two. So verse 1, arise and shine, for your light is come, and the esteem of Yahuwah is risen upon you. For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, gross darkness the people, but Yahuwah shall arise upon you, and his esteem shall be seen upon you. So what does that take you to? How did he say that it would be at the end? Well, let's look at Matthew chapter 24. And you good in Zechariah. Well, hold on. I can read the rest of Zechariah so we can move on to verse 18. If the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that no, there shall be the plague wherewith Yahuwah will smite the heathen that come not up to the Feast of Tabernacles. This is the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And that day there shall be bells of the horses, Kadash unto Yahuwah, the pots in Yahuwah's house shall be like the bowls before the altar. Yea, every pot in Jerusalem and in Yahuwah shall be Kadash unto Yahuwah of hosts. And all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them and seethe therein. And today there shall be no more Canaanite in the house of Yahuwah of hosts. So you know what that's telling you? Ain't nobody from the land of Canaan. Indeed, shoot, I understand. Ain't nobody from the land of Canaan going to be living there. How do we know this? Because when you took the land the first time, Canaanites still dwelt there. You ain't push them all out. He said they don't dwell all here this time. They got to go. Matthew 24. I was going to say, I know I feel like I'm in the wrong chapter, and I will. 24 and 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be dark, and the moon shall not give her light. The stars shall fall from Shamahim, and the powers of Shamahim shall be shaken. Then shall appear the sign of the son of Adam in Shamahim, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the son of Adam coming in the clouds of Shamahim with great power and esteem. So come on back to Isaiah 60. What are we understanding from that? The course of heaven will be changed. Remember, he said the heavens shall roll up like a scroll.
That star is Yahushua, right? That's coming down.
No, the stars, like the literal stars you see in heaven. Let me ask you this here. You know what that's referring to when you see them literal stars falling from heaven? See, that take you back to that epistle of Jude when he say, and the Lord will come with 10,000 thousands of his saints. So what you get to see is the host of heaven preparing to descend upon earth and wage war upon those who sin against the name and the word of the living Elohim. Because see, people think it's a game. That man coming back. And why is he coming back to wage war? To subdue the land, to take the kingdom. And guess what you did when you came into the land? When you came into the land, being led by Yahushua son of Nun, you waged war and subdued the land and took it. See, you know what I'm saying? I would listen to a brother today. He was talking about that, like, why, you know what Moses did and didn't get in. And that's true why he didn't get in. But of course, when you look at the grand scheme of things, he wasn't supposed to get in. He was supposed to pass the baton so the witness would continue, because he had already played his part in the witness. His part was to show that he was the Redeemer to bring you out of bondage, pointing to the Redeemer who would bring you out of the bondage of sin and death. But he wasn't going to be the one to bring you into the land and subdue it. See, a lot of people don't talk about that by Yahushua son of Nun. He was the one who brought the people in the land and subdued it. They waged war with him. Yahushua went to war with all the kings of the land and subdued it. Does it not sound familiar? We've discussed this before many times over the years. That's what he did. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the writer of the Epistle of Hebrews say, if Yahushua son of Nun would have gave you rest, he wouldn't have spoke of another day. You know what I'm saying? Because you're looking at something different. You're looking at he who drew you out of the water, say with Moses. Well, Yahushua drew you out of the pit where there was no water, and then he passed it off to bring you into the land to salvation. You know what I'm talking about? So you looking at when Yahushua HaMashiach, the son of Elohim, come, he's bringing you salvation, delivering you from your enemies and planting you in your land where you can be at peace from your enemies and then eventually from your last enemy, which is death. But see, most brews are not concerned with that because most brews don't want to live forever. They just want vengeance upon those who they feel have wronged them. But that's because you're in an emotional state. When you understand why these people have the rule and the authority that they have, then you're no longer walking around emotional, angry, and upset with them. Number one, because you would understand you put yourself in this position. Number two, you would understand that they were sinners and you would know what their latter end is. So therefore, you would not be anywhere concerned about anything they got going on. Number three, you would understand that you would confess that you are a stranger and pilgrim on the earth and that you desire a kingdom and a country. You know what I'm talking about? Where your Elohim is not ashamed to be called your Elohim, so you don't give a damn about what these people doing in their land and what they got going on other than standing up for your Elohim, and that's it. That's why some brews get upset. I don't care what these white folk got going on. You know what I'm saying? I just tell somebody, and we talked about this the other day, y'all know why these people, quote unquote, overturn Roe v. Wade. They not having babies. You know what I'm saying? Like if it come down to them nigga babies getting aborted, we want that. We don't care about that. But we not having babies, and then you are aborting babies. And we know that, see, contrary to popular belief, white people can be bred out because they have recessive genes. And the reason why I say that is because it's a lot of mixing. So when they mix, that's why they've always screamed about a pure Aryan race and all this other stuff, because they know genetically they can be bred out. This is not something to say that they're this or they're that. We're just talking about what is, because it doesn't matter if you believe it or not. Guess what? They do. See, that's what a lot of people get confused at. It doesn't matter if you believe that. They do. So guess what they gonna do? See, what a lot of people call white supremacy is white survival. I've told y'all that before. Everything is tribalism, and everything that people do is gonna be for the survival of their tribe. You should knock them for that. Because guess what? If it was Arabs, you'd be calling it Arab supremacy. If it was Africans, you'd be calling it African supremacy. But I tell you this here, when you in the kingdom of Elohim, are you going to call it Hebrew supremacy? No, you're not. You're going to rejoice in the fact that you have the ability to rule and that you're going to do the things necessary to maintain your rule. What group of people would get rule and then not seek to maintain it? See, the difference between us and them is that they seek to maintain it by unrighteous means. You know what I'm talking about? But anybody who has power is going to seek to maintain it. And if you're a man and you don't understand that, your father failed you. Because that's one of the first things he should have taught you about being a man, is that when you get power, it's not just getting the power, it's maintaining the power. And if any man tells you that you should be ashamed for taking power, he ain't a man. Because a man should desire to have power in his life. We're not talking about having power to do unrighteous acts. We're talking about having power in your life. How are you going to be ashamed to want to take hold of power? At that point, then we should be ashamed to take hold of the power of Elohim, because Yahushua wasn't ashamed to take hold of power. He just didn't misuse his power, because as I told you before, and I'll tell you again, he that ruleth amongst men must be just. That's all that is. Just because you get hold of power don't mean you have to wield it unjustly. See, one thing, there's a statement that said that if you want to see a man, give him power. You know what I'm talking about? See, this is the thing. Everybody can't have power because power doesn't change people. It just reveals who you are. Nothing changes anyone. All situations and circumstances do is reveal who you are. You got people who get power and they never misuse it. You get people who get power and every chance they get, they seek to misuse it. It wasn't the power, it was the person. You know what I'm talking about? That person was already corrupt in their heart. They just needed an opportunity for all to see it. But you want to say, oh, that power, it changed him. It didn't change that nigga. He never had an opportunity to show you that he was a no good bastard. The opportunity arose itself. You can see him for who he is. See, we don't like to deal with it. We don't like to do that. We don't like to do that. Some people can't have no authority. You know it. If people gave you authority at that bank, you'd have been firing people every day. Your breath stink. You fired. See that? Let you know, yep. She couldn't handle that power. As soon as you would have got in power, I remember she ate my sandwich. She fired. So you were firing them just for that. Vindictive. Just vindictive. But you a lady, so we expect that. Because y'all some vengeful, vindictive creatures. Y'all hold grudges, you don't forget nothing. You remember the little girl who slighted you when you was in 6th grade. You can see that whole, like, look at her, she got a flat tire. I'm a flat the other. Look at you. You said, look what you said. You said, I was going to fire them people. They ain't getting my holiday. You was waiting for that one there. You're fired. I got a family. I just had a baby. Get to the soup line. Hold. You're fired. Look how she laughed. She said, I wouldn't have cared what they said. Them tears wouldn't have moved me. You out of a job. So she said, I'm going to do them dirty back. That ain't the heart of the Lord. She said, I don't care nothing about that. Them niggas going to feel my wrath. That's tough. Verse 3. She hard, ain't it? Isaiah 60:3. And the Gentiles shall come to your light, and the kings to the brightness of your rising. Lift up your eyes round about and see. And all they gather themselves together. They come to you. Your sons shall come from far. Your daughter shall be nursed at your side. Then you shall see and flow together, and your heart shall fear and be enlarged, because of the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto you, and the forces of the Gentiles shall come unto you. The multitude of camels shall cover you, and the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, and from all Sheba shall they come. They shall bring gold and incense. They shall show forth the praises of Yahuwah. The flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto you. The rams of Naboth shall minister unto you. They shall come with acceptance on my altar. I will esteem the house of my esteem. Who are these that fly as a cloud, as a dove to their windows? See, you got bruised. I done heard this before. They'll take that verse right there, that verse 8, and they'll say that's how we're going to get back to the land, because they're going to put us on airplanes and fly us there. I'm not making that up. I've literally heard that talk before. They be like, how we going to get to the land? They're going to fly us. See, right here. They going to fly as a cloud, dove to the windows. You think I'm making that up, don't you? No, I'm not, though. I wish I was making up, but I'm not. Hold on, I'll show it to you. We'll look at it and see what it says. We'll look at it and see what it says. So who's not nil neither bit? As a cloud, what do you have? You have darkness, cloud, thicket, dark cloud, cloud mass, as you would. So who are these as a cloud? As doves to the windows. A window, of course, is a ruba. A ruba, which is, of course, is a lattice in a window or a chimney. Pigeonholes of a chimney. You know what I'm talking about? Chimney, window, this, that, and the third. Let's continue, though. Verse 9, surely the owl shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring your sons from afar, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yahuwah your Elohim, and the Kadash one of Yasharal, because he has esteemed you. And the son of your strangers shall build up your walls, and the king shall minister unto you. For in my wrath I smote you, but in my favor I have had mercy on you. What is he telling you? The very people who you serve will now serve you. Therefore your gate shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night. That men may bring unto you the forces of the Gentiles, that their kings may be brought. So why are their kings being brought? Let's take a look at Psalms 149. And then let's look at another part in Revelation about day or night. Let's look at, see why their kings being brought. Y'all should know Psalms 149. You know Psalms 149, Big Boo? She don't know it. We know Michael don't know it. Look like that again. And you ain't gonna make 2 years. You're gonna be in a wheelchair. You ain't gonna be able to feel your back. Psalms 149:1. Put up with this nonsense. Where my belt at? A little Bible study gonna whoop you. I let my assistant whoop you. Bet you lied. But if I say get him, that's he gonna put all that I like you junk to the side. Okay. Little Bible study gonna do his job. He said you get 39 lashes, save one. Ain't that right, little Bible study? Yeah, play with it. He said it with his eyes. He's a faithful servant. You think his love for you gonna come between his love for his job? You're gonna be upset. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't gonna show you no mercy. Strong lashes, or at least as strong as he can for his size. Psalms 149:1. Hallelujah! Sing unto Yahuwah a new song, his praise in the congregation of the faithful. Let Yasharal rejoice in him that made him. Let the sons of Zion be joyful in their Malik. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp. For Yahuwah take pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the faithful be joyful in esteem, and let them sing aloud upon their beds. The high of Elohim in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen, punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his faithful. Hallelujah. See, that's why the kings getting brought in. They got to get taxed. That been happening. That ain't new. It'll come to me in a minute, Lord Allah. Oh, I can't remember. Come on back over here to Isaiah chapter 60. Oh, that's what we'll pray the Lord. I told you. Revelation 21. You can pick it up at 22. 21 and 22. Notice how you read in Isaiah 60 that the gates wouldn't be shut, right? But it did say that there would be what? Where's it at? It would be shut day nor night. Now, with New Jerusalem and Shamahim, it gives a different scenario. And this is Revelation 21 and 22. And I saw no temple therein, for Yahuwah Elohim Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. The city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it, for the esteem of Elohim did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. Remember, this is new Shamahim. If there's a new heaven and a new earth, this heaven and earth don't have no need for no sun. You know why it don't have no need for no night? Why would the kingdom have no need for the moon? Because the moon is the light that rules when? In the night. There's no darkness there because there is no sin. Therefore, there is no death. So there's no night there. No need for night. And you know another reason why there's no night there? Because Elohim is there. And Elohim is light and no part darkness. Because guess what happens if there would have been darkness there? That means the people don't know where they're going. That ain't the case. Verse 24. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. The maliks of their rats do bring their esteem and honor into it. The gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. And they shall bring the esteem and honor of the nations into it. And there shall no wise enter into it anything that defile, neither work abomination or a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. And we know if your name is doing sinning. Let's return to Isaiah chapter 60. (60 and 12). Listen what he said. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve you shall perish. Yea, nation shall be utterly wasted. Well, let's look and see. Revelation 20 and 7 on the house. We don't got to read all the way through Ezekiel 38 because y'all already know that. And for those who don't know, we'll make the reference. 20 and 7. Matter of fact, let me ask y'all this. Who remembers where it's written that Satan get thrown in the pit?
Is that chapter?
The exact chapter where it's referenced at from Genesis to Malachi, where it bears witness that Satan gets thrown in the pit. Because we're about to read that Satan get thrown in the prison. Well, I need to see who remembers where it is written that Satan gonna get thrown in the prison. Who can tell me? Who knows? Janisha don't know. Boy, your cousin put you out there, boy. You know your head was bigger than your whole body. They had that nigga with that extra big suit
It
on.
was huge, the suit.
They say he gonna grow into it. That's one of them clothes right there. When your people like his head didn't know them clothes too big, he gonna grow into it. Don't let that boy go out there like that. That nigga say, "Where your clothes at? You look like you ain't have on no hoochie mama clothes. You had on some hoochie mama clothes in that picture."
Always, when I was young, my parents let me on my back and stomach.
This nigga 8 years old. Tomorrow, look at my tummy.
Unfortunately.
Y'all don't know where it's written where Satan that Satan gonna be thrown in the pit.
I think it was in Genesis.
No, it ain't in Genesis. I can tell you that. It's only mentioned in one place. You don't know. You just throwing stuff out there. Come on, Michael. Big Boot, come on now. Lee, where you at? Don't nobody on this chat know? Don't nobody in this clubhouse room know? Don't nobody know? Why your face balled up, man? What's wrong, man? Your life ain't that hard, big. No. I'm gonna help y'all out.
Just give us a range.
I ain't giving no range. Ain't no range. Nigga, we got a stove.
Isaiah.
Don't tell me that.
That's close.
It's not that close.
It's in the ballpark.
It's in the ballpark.
I think I'm trying to find.
Y'all got a few niggas on the chat like, no, that mean them niggas sleep. Don't nobody say nothing, that mean they sleep. They had a cat. I just looking at it on the TV. No, that nigga sleep. That when the Lord said, take your rest, son. What you mean, no? I know you ain't sleep. I'm looking at you. Who laughing? That's Muffin over there laughing? Oh, that little Bible study. Oh, no, that's me laughing. Don't take that away from me. Oh, you ain't been around for that, Brother Reynolds, so that's all good. But there's some people here who have been around for that. Come over here to Isaiah chapter 24.
I was just about to say it.
Verse 17.
Right here.
Oh, but that ain't the verse.
I was just about to say it too.
Isaiah chapter 24, verse 17. Fear and the pit and the snare upon you, O inhabitant of the earth. Matter of fact, let me back that up so you can see why he's saying that. I'm gonna give you verse 12. In the city is left desolation, the gate is smitten with destruction. Right, I see you there. And when this dust shall be in the midst of the land among the people, as the shaking of an olive tree, the gleaning of the grapes when the vintage is done. They shall lift up their voice, that shall sing for the majesty of Yahuwah. They shall cry aloud from the sea. When they esteem you, Yahuwah, in the fires, the name of Yahuwah, of the Elohim of Yasharal, in the isles of the sea. From the uttermost part of the earth have we heard songs, esteemed to the righteous. But I said, my leanness, woe unto me. The treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Yea, the treacherous dealers have dealt very treacherously. Of course, this is them selling out of my shop. Fear and the pit and the snare upon you, O inhabitant of the earth. It shall come to pass, he who flee from the noise of fear shall fall into the pit. He that come up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in a snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. When you look at them windows from on high, he coming down from Shamahim. That earth shaking because he told you to be an earthquake. Look at what he said. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moving exceedingly. The earth shall wheel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And it shall come to pass in that day, Yahuwah shall punish the host of high ones that are on high. So when he say you the host of high ones that are on high, he talking about Satan and his minions, because that's what he talking about, a host on high. I give it to you and verify it to you in the language. Now, this is something that by the grace of Elohim, I was able to ascertain they need to look at no Hebrew. But some people, they need that. And I ain't saying y'all need it. I'm talking about for the bald head niggas that slide through later. When you look at high ones, of course, you have height proudly of nobles, elevation, also people who are haughty in height. But see, when you're dealing with that host, which y'all know that's Sabah, that host, that organized army. See, that take you back to that Revelation 12 when it says Satan and the third of the king were kicked out with him. That host from on high. And he say, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And listen what it said. They shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in a pit, and they shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days they shall be visited. We only took the time to look at this because you need to know what the script say that Satan would be shut up in a prison. Because Isaiah is telling you that this man is going to be shut up in a prison. And then it tells you the moon shall be confounded and the sun ashamed when Yahuwah of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem before his ancients esteem. So who is the ancients? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is telling you that Yahuwah has returned. And we know that Satan gets thrown in his pit upon Yahuwah's return. This is so you can know that and understand that. You know what I'm talking about? They say, look what we can learn. You need to understand. Okay, why is Satan getting thrown in the pit? Okay, this is where it say where Satan get thrown in the pit. So then when you read Revelation 20, then you could be able, if your son looked you in the face and say, Daddy, why Satan get thrown in the pit? Well, see, son, the people have been dealing treacherously. And he said he would make the earth shake to and fro like a drunkard. And then in his wrath, he would bring down the host of all those angels who rebelled against him, punish every king that did not walk in his way. And then he was going to shut up Satan in the pit, son, for a little season. And then when he let him loose up out the pit, he going to go deceive the people who hated Yahuwah for the entire time that they had to serve him so Yahuwah can kill them all. Let's look at Revelation 20. And 7. And when 1,000 years are expired, Hashatan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out and deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is the sand of the sea. So, of course, you know, how is he going to be able to go out and deceive? You ain't going to be able to deceive in the kingdom of Elohim because what did we just read? Can't enter into the gates of that city. Anything that make a lie. So again, this is showing you the difference between the Malkuth of Hamashiach and the Malkuth of Shamahim or of Elohim. That is the difference. You know what I'm talking about? Because clearly we're going to see that these people going to die. So when you read in Isaiah 65 and it says the child will live to 100 years old, but the sinner shall die accursed. That's why you can sit back and look at that. It's going to be some people who are actually going to be in the millennial kingdom and still sin their way into hell when they actually sitting here looking at this man. See, a lot of brews don't want to hear that one either. Shalom, Brother Shaul. A lot of brews don't want to hear that one either, man. But they're going to be sitting in front of it. And this is what I'm telling you. Whether Mashiach was in your face or in Shamahim, if it ain't in your heart to believe and obey him, you ain't going to do it. Do you know what I'm talking about? You're not going to do it. And then that made me think about something, too. I was just telling me this yesterday, right? I told you this before. It's been a lot of people who have been around here and did a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? And one thing, it was some, you know, you have some niggas be around, they be wanting you to go off on a nigga. They only really want to go off because they ain't got no compassion in their heart. Because see, I was explaining that to my people earlier today. Because, you know, when people be hungry for the word, they call you, they got questions. They want to know stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like this here, right? And I'm telling them, right? Because this nigga say they had a conversation at their church and they was like something about God's forgiveness. And she said she was the only one who said that his forgiveness, that she wasn't comfortable with it because she knew she had to stay on her toes. You know what I'm talking about? I know I just can't do something and I'm just going to be forgiven. That's how a lot of people think. You know what I'm talking about? But as I was explaining, right, it's like this here, right? The text say, who can help those who are ignorant and have compassion on those that are out of the way? See, you have a nigga, right? Say Michael, say, you know what? I'm going to go smoke crack today. But Michael don't smoke crack. You know what I'm talking about? Let me use that example, right? More niggas in the word would be like, this nigga's a crackhead versus of all the things that you could do, nigga won't ask, what was you thinking about when you went and did that? See, because the nigga don't really care about what your thought process is because they don't really care about you being healed, so you don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? God just was telling niggas like, oh, you taking up for this nigga. I'm not taking up for nobody, but I understand why they did it. See, some niggas don't understand you can take the time to understand a nigga thought process, but not co-sign their behavior. Just because I'm taking the time to understand does not mean that I go along with you smoking crack. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're going to tell a nigga, you need to stop smoking crack. But see, most niggas don't care because they don't care to help you, because most people only want to say, ha ha. And it's usually because they believe that you were here and they're happy to see you come here. You know what I'm talking about? And they ready to point that finger versus, I didn't see you anywhere, but clearly there's a problem. How can that problem be solved? But see, a lot of people problem don't get solved because a lot of people don't want help. So they don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or what I done told y'all before, what good is it to talk to a group of people who can't help you versus going to a person who could? You know what I'm saying? What am I talk to Christian for? Christian can't give me no information. You know what I'm saying? But that's what a lot of people do though. I'm gonna call my homeboy and just take you back to what you seen with Rare-Born. What you talking to your homeboy for? They stupid. You had a circle of older wise men who you could have got counsel from, but you want to talk to niggas who don't know nothing. So they can't help you. That's what a lot of people do. Most people do that because I don't really want a solution. You know what I'm saying? I don't really want to understand it to the depths of my problem. You know, you got to ask yourself when you see people, now, like I said, right, I've been doing this a long time. I know when people be struggling with stuff and it's just stuff in their own brain or stuff that they done experienced in their life. I know when a nigga don't want to do it. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't hard to tell when a nigga don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? It shows, it's clear. That nigga don't want to do this. And the difference between me and others is if I perceive you don't want to do it, I'm not finna say nothing to you. I'm gonna let you go ahead over there with that because this ain't what you want to do. See, a lot of people who, when this ain't what they want to do, they really want you to chase them and to try to convince them to do what they don't want to do. I'm not doing that. You know what I'm talking about? It's a difference if you can see, this is what this person want to do, and they're struggling. Remember I told y'all not too long ago, man, it's very difficult for you to serve Yahuwah if you still carrying stuff. You know what I'm talking about? But see, this is the thing. This is what I mean on sending somebody a verse ain't gonna do nothing. You have to have a conversation. But you know what most people want you to do? They want you to be able to tell that they're dealing with something versus them just saying, I'm dealing with something. Can you help me out? Because people can't tell. Only person who can tell when something wrong with you is somebody who done lived with you for a long time. Or they done been around you a lot. You know what I'm talking about? You've been around somebody a lot, you can kind of tell there's something wrong with that nigga. You know what I'm saying? But if you ain't really around nobody like that, and they don't know your mannerisms, your demeanor, and this, that, there, and the third, how you expect them to pick up on that? That's gonna be pretty difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like we were talking about the other day, like, shoot, you've been living with your husband for a long time. So you would know somebody who just got married, they're not gonna be able to know their husband like you know yours. Lee, you say you know Michael pretty well. You guess or you know? You guess or you just choose not to answer? I mean, you can. A guess is not an answer.
I guess.
She said I guess every time.
I mean, how you guess about a nigga you've been living with for damn near a decade? At this point, I can't accept that. You either know or you don't. Because guessing means shoes. I'm throwing it out there. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. That what you said? Yeah, that was better. I could take that. I could take that. I only say that because she's been living with him for a long time. You know what I'm saying? You don't really, man, it probably take to live with somebody, it probably take about 3 to 5 years just to begin to pick up on nonverbal cues. Like, take a long time. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, you got women who expect a nigga to know them after living with them for 90 days. This nigga don't know you like that. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's different. I go back to what I'm gonna tell y'all ladies something too, man. Cause I tell my homegirls, I tell them, like this here, man, y'all don't need to be walking around the house not looking good for your husband. Don't do that. Especially if you don't got to go to work. If you ain't got to go to work, man, at least you can do it how your hair done. Cause I told the nigga here, well, if I came in the house, man, nigga got a bonnet on, man, you can get out. I ain't coming home to look at a nigga with a bonnet and a stained sweatshirt. I don't want to see that. That's just me. I can't speak for none of y'all. I don't want to see that. I've been working all day, man. You like to see you can't even look somewhat appealing. I got to come in here and look at a bonnet and a throwed up on sweatshirt. Because a lot of women, you don't understand that men desire that. They've been working all day, and here you is with rollers and a bonnet on. And then you like this here, you don't never put no clothes on for me. You got women who don't put no clothes on, don't put no effort of looking good, go out with their homegirl, get dolled up to the dines. But they don't do that for their dude, though. And then you wonder why your dude smashing a chick that work at Circle K. You know what I'm talking about? You know, because I'm telling you something, you know the difference. When you don't live with a woman, you know what you don't never see her in? At her worst. She'll never let you see her at her worst. She won't let you catch her with her hair not done. She ain't gonna let you catch her with a bad outfit on. Soon as you move in with her, she don't care no more. She don't want to get the boogers out of her eyes. She don't care about doing her hair. She don't care what she put on. I said, that ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, the lady at the gas station was flirting with him. You know what I'm talking about? But I told her, and she kept talking about, I be stressed. You don't stay at home, mom, you stressed. I say, man, you missing the whole point. If this nigga's providing a life for you where you ain't got to work and you can't even, it don't even click in your mind that I should look nice for him. Now, if you don't care about your old lady looking nice, that's a personal problem. You know what I'm talking about? I would hope you as a woman, you would want to look nice anyway. You ain't got to walk around here like this. I'm looking like a mama. Clothes got stains on it. These my house clothes. I literally seen a woman say, why would I want to mess up good clothes in the house? I'm like, damn, nigga ain't saying you got to put your going out clothes on. But you want to look like a handmaid in the house? I said, Lord have mercy. That ain't right now. If you know you ain't got to get up and go to work every day. Now, see, this is what the nigga told me today, right? She said her grandma told her that she should be dressed by noon. You know what I'm talking about? No later than noon. And that man come home. That man food ought to be ready because her grandma old. I'm talking about extra old. You know what I'm saying? So she come from a different time. Food cooked and a nice appealing outfit on. That man should come in there and be stoked with his stomach and stoked with his eyes. You know what I'm talking about? Now, see, that's what the old women tell you. The new women will tell you, shoot, I'm tired. Nigga, what? So what the hell you think I am? I've been out the door 16 hours, slaving. And you talking about you tired. This is bull crap. You mean to tell me this is what I get in return? And see, the difference is that most men will go without what they want, but a woman will never go without what she wants. She'll go get another nigga before she go out for what she wants. I'm talking about 2-3 niggas on the side. I'm talking about the average woman out here in the world, whether they're in the world or not. Oh, yeah, you ain't going without what you want. Darius say you got to look nice for the master. Got to have that white linen on. Or you can't join the festivities. He said you ain't got no wedding garment on. Now you're looking crazy. But all jokes aside, you think a nigga want to come home and nigga see you like this here? Rollers all in your head looking like one of them ratchet hoes that go up to the school with a bonnet and slides on. Not slides, fur slippers. You know you had students' mama come up there like that. Well, guess what? You see how you feel about that? That's how a nigga feel when he come home and his old lady look like that. Okay, I'm just telling you.
I'm just thinking in my head, it depends on the person.
It do, because some women don't care how they look.
Well, I'm just saying, it depends on if she do her hair, somebody else do her hair. If she coming in with rollers, I mean.
Well, I'm going to use that example because, so you know, that's all. But guess what? Whether somebody else do her hair or she do her own hair, it ought to be done. Yeah, but see, this is the point. Have that junk out your head before I get there. Y'all ain't care. Y'all got dressed. So guess what that means? Just get your new growth taken care of. You say what you say?
Nice scarf.
You think a nigga want to come home and look at you with a scarf on if y'all ain't finna pray?
No, I mean, if you want someone to help, that's not every day.
What's not an everyday thing? Looking nice?
No. The roller,
Yeah, like you got right now.
It's in preparation for something else. Like it's gonna be done tomorrow, but it can't be like with my hair.
That's the thing. I don't give a damn about tomorrow. I don't want to look at it today.
My hair wouldn't be dry. My hair wouldn't even be done. It wouldn't. It takes too long.
Well, guess what? See, that's what nigga put you in a position where you can go pay a nigga. Make sure that junk done before I get to the house. See, he always home, so it don't make no difference. But what I'm talking about is the allure of a lady. It changes when you live with them, and then a lot of women get lazy and they feel like I don't have to do X, Y, Z no more because I got that nigga now. That's why I say the difference. When you don't live with it, you ain't never gonna let that nigga see you.
I mean, I
child.
don't be liking him to see me looking crazy, but at the same time, if I'm in there cleaning up, I ain't gonna put no nice dress on to clean. I may have bleaching towels and I'm always cleaning up. Literally.
So you may be like that, but guess what? It's a lady like this here. See, French maid outfit, real nasty and freaky, but y'all got churned. Straight up, she always Ricky. She was like this here, ready for him. You come get. Y'all going to the extreme as usual.
And then how much cleaning really gonna get done when you got a maid outfit? I ain't gonna be able to clean if a maid outfit is on. What man thinking about the cleaning at that point? That's true. It's gonna be like, oh, you got a maid outfit on.
Well, see, this is the thing. This is the thing. Now, difference, right? He be there. Most of the time, the cleaning should be done before he even arrives. See, when you do that, that means you're mismanaging your time. If you know what time this nigga leave and what time he come back, then the majority of the cleaning that you need to get done, you should have had that done before he arrived. If you know this nigga don't get home till 6:30, 7 o'clock, why is you waiting till 4 o'clock to start cleaning?
I mean, well, even though he working, cause he's still in the closed area. So
I'm talking about different. He's there.
But I mean, I still try to have stuff done before he's done. Cause I understand your point. Cause I try to have stuff done before he's done working. But still, sometimes it's
no, cause you go
my
overboard.
roll is on. I'm sorry.
See, you
I
go
put a
overboard.
nice scarf on for you.
This nigga said a nice scarf on.
Cute moo. It's a nice look.
That nigga said a moo.
It's nice and silky. It's cute, but it's a house. I mean,
That's my point. You won't put on my clothes. Get with your homegirls. You fresh.
they didn't see it too. I mean, I like the moves. I know it's nice. It's a nice small, silky.
How many men you think like that? Exactly.
I'm cleaning in it. I mean,
Exactly. At that point, you might as well just clean naked. But y'all got turns, so you can't do that. But guess what, Michael? You ain't gonna have that problem. You can have that problem. You do all that type of junk. Like this here, he be like, well, I got me one, boy.
always I can do it too. Sure, all the school.
That nigga saying, all I can do, I'm free. Look at that nasty nigga. Nasty nigga. You ain't right. One of Revelation 20:9. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the faithful about and the beloved city. And fire came down from Elohim out of Shamahim and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone with the beast and false prophet, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Brother Ellis say that's the truth. You should have been learned from your growth as a young lady. But for real though, that stuff the old ladies used to tell them, like, you ain't supposed to. Like I say, a lot of women are lazy. Like I say, you don't come with the same fervency for that man when you don't live with him versus when you live with him. Cause I done seen, man, I was in high school, man, she would, man, I went to work that, and that nigga wasn't done. That nigga ran and hid. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that nigga did not want me to see her like that. Because you know what that does? It takes away the allure and the mystique. See, women understand that. If you see me looking crazy, the allure is gone. Because now I'm just a regular profane chick to you. You know what I'm talking about? But see, once you get them and you live with them, and you feel like, it's only a handful. Now, you know, the rich maggot hoes, you know, like the poppy thought pockets out there, the celebrity hoes, they don't care nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? They got the time and the means to look good all the time. Some of them go outside looking dusty. That's why they don't get recognized. You know what I'm talking about? But you don't want to be dusty. You know what I'm saying? Like this here, man. Because you represent your husband. Nigga catch you out here looking dusty. They be like, boy, I seen your wife today, boy. She looked like she smoked rock. She okay? You know what I'm talking about? That ain't what you want.
I will say, if this is how you know you look right, you be like, dang, I hope nobody will see me.
So that's the thing. You shouldn't even came out the door looking ragged. If you had that thought, you shouldn't even came out the door like that. That means your mama ain't told you right. Yeah, don't run to the store. Don't run to the store. It don't take much to make sure to have a decent appearance before you go to the store. You want to go to the store with crackhead clothes on. Come on, I hope nobody don't see me.
Somebody don't see me too.
You know what it look like.
It could be a bleach dress. Well, not the good dress. Right. My mom was that kind of person. She could go to the corner store.
Tell you, that's what my auntie told me. She said, you don't never know who you might run into. You better not be out here looking crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Women don't be caring because y'all get lazy. You know what I'm saying? You get lazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, let myself go. I got him now. That's how I got him now. I ain't got to do nothing. That's how women feel. I ain't got to compete for him. That's why you seen all that stuff with people arguing about Kevin Samuels and all that stuff when he was like, compete for your man. A lot of women feel like once I marry him, I ain't got to compete. You know what I'm talking about? Because in your mind, I'm his. I ain't got to do nothing else. But in reality, it's women looking at what you got. And if he ain't rooted in nothing, you know what I'm talking about? Then guess what? That nigga might slide. Especially if it's, because I'm telling you, men are conditioned in their mind to, if it's something they want and their wife won't give it to them, they condition, well, you just go without it and be unhappy, even that's what you want, versus demanding, you going to give me what I want or you can dip. I'm just telling you how men are conditioned. You know what I'm saying? How you think dudes, why you think you hear dudes complaining about a sexless marriage? Or remember that DeVal dude was talking to his wife about how much sex he wanted, and she like, I don't want to do it. So in her mind, he's supposed to go without. Even that's what he want. And he not, this is what I want. And I'm paying for everything. I'm paying for everything, and I can't get what I want. That don't benefit me. Why would I participate in that? That's what I was trying to tell my homegirl. Like, you're not understanding how that works. She was like, just provided don't mean you a good man. I said, baby, you're missing the point. When you sit back and you look as a man that I'm doing X, Y, Z, and all I want is A and B, and I can't even get that. And you think that's cool. And you want me to be overly concerned about what you got going on, and you don't even give a damn about what I want. You don't even care if I'm satisfied, as long, but you're benefiting off of my labor, my brain, my plans, my schemes, anything that I'm coming up with. I can't even get what I want, and if I don't get it, I just should be satisfied with that. But if a woman don't get what she wants, she gonna go get it. She's not going without. You know what I'm talking about? And y'all been told that he don't give you what you want, girl. You better go on and get it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not doing that. Men are told differently. That's why dudes be miserable. Why you think a lot of niggas be killing themselves? They be alcoholics and drunks and drug addicts. Them niggas sad because they too scared to tell their woman, I want this. So instead they go get high. You know what I'm talking about? Go get drunk. Tell stories about, I hate my wife. Y'all think it be stories about niggas sitting in the driveway not coming in the house for a reason? You ain't never heard about no woman sitting in the driveway for 45 minutes dreading to go in the front door to deal with her husband. She just gonna leave. You know what I'm talking about? She ain't gonna stay there. That's why I've always told you, women don't love more than men do. Not like I told you before, you ain't never heard no woman put a bullet in her brain because her nigga left her. Niggas put bullets in their brain when that woman leave them. And if they sick enough, they'll kill her and himself. You know what I'm talking about? Because niggas get emotionally attached. They go way somewhere else with it that women don't go. Yeah, y'all know. And I ain't knocking you for it.
A man he's loyal. That's how it is. A woman, that nigga leaves, she got to survive some other.
So, new nigga, where he at? That nigga look like he'll do. Dude get locked in. They get locked in. They go too far. You know what I'm talking about? Because you know how women say, women love more than men. No, you don't. Because you could leave a nigga and forget he exists tomorrow.
put up more too, so.
Yeah, that's why I hurt him more. And then if a man interjects his emotions, it's over. Cause I say, man, I ain't never heard too many women killing themselves because a nigga left them. I know niggas personally who done put a bullet in their brain because their old lady left them. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, I understand that was pretty rough for you. But dang, bro, you could have got a new hoe. You know what I'm talking about? But that nigga loved her. And that nigga felt like his life was over. And it wasn't worth living because she was gone. You know what I'm saying? Women don't allow themselves to get that emotionally attached. Y'all might get emotionally attached and have sex with random men to try to make yourself feel better. Women do that. You know what I'm saying? Or eat a lot of ice cream. You know what I'm talking about? Drink a lot of alcohol. Go on hoe trips. I mean girl trips. You know what I'm talking about? I'm saying that's what a lot. I mean, when I say that, meaning because of women being emotional creatures, and this is the same thing in dealing with man and dealing with sin. Because I was telling Lisa this here, right? I done had women ask me, do they believe it's harder for a woman to get the spirit than a man? And I can understand why some women would think that it would be more difficult because y'all are emotional by nature. But men are also carnal creatures as well. And they're dealing with the attributes of the flesh just like you are, just differently. So it's not that it's harder for a man. It's just a woman. I mean, for a woman, it's just women overthink it. You know what I'm talking about? So they thinking it is much more difficult. But the flesh is the flesh. You know what I'm talking about? And like we were talking about, when you are emotional, then you're going to seek to do something that's going to make you feel better versus confronting why you are feeling that emotion. So that's why I mean some women, to make themselves feel better, I'm going to go have sex with random men. Or I'm going to sit over here and drink. Or I'm going to sit over here and eat. Versus actually confronting, I feel bad. I'm feeling this. This is why I'm feeling this. How can I approach to rectify what is causing me to feel like this, and then me dealing with it and moving on? That's when women say they want somebody to have emotional intelligence. Most women don't have it because they don't confront their issues that cause their emotions. You know what I'm talking about? They think talking about it means you're emotionally intelligent. Emotional intelligence is identifying the root cause of emotion, confronting that cause, and not allowing that emotion to dictate your thoughts, actions, and deeds. And most people can't do that. A lot of men can't do it. A lot of women can't do it. And guess what that sounds like? Just like the word. Just because the temptation of the flesh arises, you would have to identify, why am I triggered to this point that I would go outside the word, confront that, and then rein yourself into the word and go about your business. You know what I'm saying? It's discipline. But the discipline comes with confrontation. And most people don't want to confront. You scared of confrontation? You look like it. Meaning that you don't like to be in adversarial situations and circumstances. I mean, scared is the word is used, but you avoid conflict.
Yeah, for sure.
So that means you're scared of confrontation. Oh, they can say, oh, when you put it like that, oh, absolutely. That's what being scared of confrontation means. You seek to avoid conflict. You know what I'm saying? See, most people seek to avoid conflict because that's the part where I mentioned cowardice by definition, because cowardice by definition is fear of confrontation. You know what I'm saying? And the confrontation don't have to be conflict with another person. You could have conflict within yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you scared to face that because the reason why is you fear. See, there's no need to have fear because guess what? Failure is a part of life, so screw it. You know what I'm talking about? It's just a part of life. Screw that junk. If you fail, so what? You know, of course, you know people scared of failure because you scared what other people gonna say. You know what I'm saying? But see, this is what happens. You know why you end up being scared of conflict? You know why you end up being scared of failure? Because you weren't raised to be confident in yourself. When you're raised to be confident in yourself, you don't give a damn. And that meaning you don't care what nobody say about you. You don't care what they say about your looks. You don't care about what they say about your dress. You don't care about any of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have an overbiting chip teeth. Nigga told me, you shouldn't be smiling. I say, why not? Nigga, I'm alive. But that nigga thought by saying that I should feel lesser about myself because you said that. Nigga, I ain't got nothing to do about what you think about me, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Now I'm supposed to be like, I can't smile. That nigga said don't do it. Nigga, I'm alive, nigga. I'm poor and I'm alive, nigga. I'm not gonna be sitting around here moping and sad, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, that nigga don't like how he look. Because see, it wasn't a rank in regards to I'm finna crack a joke. You said something to try to make me feel lesser about myself. You can't, there's no way that another human being should have any power over you to make you feel lesser about yourself. The only way a person can be able to do that is because you don't have no confidence in yourself. It's no different than the work. How can somebody make you lose your faith? I mean, you ain't had none to begin with. How somebody got that much power over you? You know what I'm saying? We give power away to people because you don't trust in God and you don't trust in yourself. Man, that nigga I heard a nigga say something today. That nigga ain't never lied, boy. It's one person gonna be with you your whole life. You know who that is? That's it. So who gives a damn? You came in here by yourself, you're gonna leave here by yourself. So it don't matter what a nigga talking about. You know what I'm saying? As long as I got you, I wouldn't give a damn what you talking about. Nigga, come on, nigga, you ugly. So what? I done heard nigga tell me that's why you ugly, nigga. What that matter to me? I don't like men. So why would I be upset because you say I'm ugly? Nigga, you a man, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, like, see, that throw niggas off. Now, this isn't a ranking session, you understand? But I threw niggas off with that type of logic, and then I attacked them. And then I would slaughter them for my own amusement and others. You know what I'm saying? But you have to tell niggas that off the top. You think you hurt me because you said I was ugly, nigga? You're a dude. A dude. You walk around thinking about niggas handsome, nigga, that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? Anybody say, but at the same token, that goes back to what we've been talking about for years. You have to be Yahuwah validated and then self-validated. When you Yahuwah validated and self-validated, no man can destroy you because you wouldn't give your power over to any man. When you Yahuwah validated, Satan can't destroy you. What could he do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He'd have no realm. We give our power away too easily. You only give your power away because you're overly concerned about the thoughts of others. Let's get Psalms 119 done before we can come back to Psalm 60, Isaiah 60. I'm trying to tell you, cuz. I know it. I'm trying to tell you. Verse 26. Now, remember, we were looking at verse 25. Everything from verse 25 was dealing with him being made from the dust and then getting rose from the dead. Verse 26, I have declared your ways. You have heard me. Teach me your statutes. See, that's the John 17. I've given you your word. Ain't that what he said? And they have received that I come out from you. Make me to understand the way of your precepts, so I shall talk of your wondrous works. Well, what did Yahushua do upon resurrecting from the dead? Did he not talk of his wondrous works? Did he not do that before he resurrected from the dead? All this because my soul cleaved to the dust, make me alive according to your word. See, the minute when John the Baptist baptized him and the Ruach came on him, he came out and spake living word unto the people. Let's continue. My soul melt for heaviness, strengthen you me according unto your word. Well, we already know when that happened. That's when the Malachim strengthened him. Because he says, my soul melt for heaviness. Did he not say he was exceedingly sorrowful even unto death? Let's continue. Remove from me the way of lying and grant me your law graciously. I have chosen the way of truth. Your judgments I have laid. I have stuck unto your testimonies, O Yahuwah, put me not to shame. I will run the way of your instructions when you shall enlarge my heart. See, that's one of the things that a lot of people should ask themselves is you should ask that this man remove the way of lying. You should even be in the pathway of telling lies. You know what I'm talking about? And I ain't talking about necessarily telling lies to other people. I'm talking about lying to yourself. You know what I'm saying? See, most people, before you go to lying to other people, you've been lying to yourself for a long time. You know what I'm saying? You have to stop lying to yourself. It's a lot of brews. They lie to themselves every day. You know what I'm talking about? Convincing themselves that the things they doing, that Yahuwah cool with it, and that they winning points in heaven. You making a fool out yourself. You know what I'm talking about? You making a fool out yourself. But let's continue. Let's come over here. We finished with Dalit. Let's look at Raj in this same Psalms 119. Verse 153. The header here is keeping this man instructions in adversity. He said, consider my affliction and deliver me, for I do not forget your law. That's why he asked, my Elohim, why have you forsaken me? But look what he said, plead my cause and deliver me, quicken me according to your word. And we know the Father did plead his cause because he resurrected him from the dead. Salvation is far from the wicked, for they seek not your statutes. Great are your tender mercies, O Yahuwah, quicken me according to your judgments. Many are my persecutors and my enemies, yet I do not decline from your testimonies. Come over here to Revelation chapter 12 just for that. He said, many are my persecutors, but I do not decline. After that, I'll grab Luke 12 on general principles. And this is something you have to keep in mind because it's the same thing that Yahushua did when you're looking at one jot or one tittle. You look at every righteous man who believed his man's word. They did not decline from this man's testimonies in the face of persecution. Did Jeremiah fold? No. You remember they persecuted Moses. Did he decline? Who persecuted Moses, Johnny? Who persecuted Moses? Michael. Who did it? Lee, you know who did it? I'm finna put all you niggas out. Who persecuted Moses, Big Bull? No. Who persecuted Moses? You got three people you should be able to name by name who persecuted Moses. Pharaoh don't count. Pharaoh don't count. Yep, Moses was persecuted by three different people. Two of them at the same time. They stumped.
Well, I'm not stumped. I'm stumped on persecuted.
That's what you mean by that.
Bella has named one of them, and it was Korah. And she named another one, which is Miriam. And then the person with Miriam was Aaron.
So not literally persecuted him.
I mean, they did. I mean, Korah literally rose up a company of men to overthrow him.
Okay.
That's persecution.
Yeah. Okay. Then, yeah.
See, I know y'all thinking of persecution, and you probably thinking about acts of violence. Persecution does not necessarily pertain to acts of violence.
Can it be ridicule?
Yeah, ridicule is persecution.
So Miriam and Aaron be ridiculed.
They spoke against him. That would be defined as persecution.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they said that he had married that Ethiopian woman. That's why Yahuwah snapped. And that's why Yahuwah snapped on Korah, because they were literally trying to overthrow him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? But when you look at, come over here to Revelation chapter 12. We'll pick it up at verse 7. Shoot. You had 2 out of 3. She said she was going to say Aaron, but she didn't. And see, and some people look at why he ain't say nothing to Aaron, but he said something to Miriam. You know why he said something to Miriam? Because she was, as a woman, she was out of pocket. As a woman, you supposed to, that's man business. Stay out of that. That's why he say, if your father had but spit in your face, you wouldn't have been ashamed 7 days because you interjected yourself in a place where you should not have interjected yourself. And that's really pretty much was it. Because women should not be speaking on men's business. Johnny say hostility, ill treatment is the dictionary definition of persecution. Yeah, definitely is. That's right. Miriam got consequences, leprosy, because I said if she wouldn't have said nothing, Yahuwah just would have rebuked Aaron, because he rebuked both of them, but she got a consequence. You know what I'm talking about? And it's just because as a lady, you were just out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't your place to open your mouth and speak on the man who Yahuwah has spoke with face to face. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't your place to do that. That's no different if you'll get with a child. I don't know if y'all seen that video that's been going around with a young girl talking about how to talk to your kids and this, that, there, and the third. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because it's a young lady talking. And when you hear how a lot of people of this generation feel like you should talk to kids and women who say they got all this trauma, and it really come from because your people didn't make you a co-ruler in the house. Because they're like, I should be able to state my opinions on this, that, there, and the third. No, you shouldn't. Not if I didn't ask you for them. See, that's the difference where you got kids who think that's trauma. If I didn't ask you, like they said, we should be included in decisions. The hell you say? Yeah, I'm not asking you what you think, nigga, you moving. And if you don't want to move, you can gladly stay here. So you're not taking the kids into consideration because you know why? Because people convince you as an adult, you got to live your life for your kids. I don't live my life for my kids. You live your life to prepare your kids for adulthood. Your children are going to leave you, and then you're still going to be living. And if you have devoted yourself all the way to your children in that fashion, you won't have a life to live, and then you'll be seeking to cleave to your children while they're in their adulthood, trying to make their own family, making their life a living hell. You know what I'm talking about? Absolutely not. I don't live for my children. That's insane. I live for Yahuwah. I raise my children. They will be adults. My daughter will be someone's wife one day and someone's mother.
That's that young teenagers. Like my grandmother, when her husband died, my cousin was upset because my grandmother had got a friend. But that's your daddy. What you expect? Oh, she ain't white, she ain't this. You're a child. You don't know what she got going on. That's not your business.
Yeah, Dee told me today, she was like, I was explaining to her about that video with the McDonald's. I was like, yeah, it was Skip. I was like, what it's really showing was something I told you before. The young men of this generation do not want to take care of kids that do not belong to them under any circumstance. And you know why it's like that? Because they watch the games that their mama played, that their auntie played. You know what I'm saying? And that nigga was telling me like parents get divorced. See, it's how Lee be talking about her stepmama them. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, you not my mama, you not my daddy. Like, I don't fool with you. You know what I'm talking about? Because in reality, in most child's mind, I want my parents to be together. You know what I'm saying? Here you come thinking like this here. Nigga, I don't care why you sitting in that chair. My daddy don't sit in that chair like that, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Why you sitting in that chair? I already know, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I ain't have to have the experience, but I was a child. And I know how children think. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I don't have to have that experience to know how children think. Your daddy always sat in that recliner, and here this new nigga come, and you look at this pussy nigga right here sitting in my daddy's chair. You know what I'm talking about? And this nigga trying to lean back in. My daddy leaned to the left, nigga. Mama, you need to get this nigga up out of here. Why this nigga in my daddy's chair? That's how you say it too. You don't say why he's sitting in that chair. Why he's sitting in my daddy's chair? You know what I'm talking about? That's my daddy's favorite cup. Why you let him drink out my daddy's cup? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's how you looking at it because you resent this nigga for being here because you not my daddy. You know what I'm talking about? And you don't really understand that. Now, homegirl was like this here, right? She didn't wait. She didn't understand until she was grown why her mama slid on her daddy because she didn't interject herself in adult affairs. Because when you get older and then you get the full story, then you be like, oh, I see why you did that. You know what I'm saying? But see, now you got little kids, they want to be a part of adult affairs, and then you got simpletons that are allowing their children into that. Now, I'm not the type of nigga to throw it in the child's face. That's why I pay all the bills, nigga. That's a parent, I pay them all. So you're going to respect me in mine. Sometimes you might have to remind this ungrateful bastard what time it is. You know what I'm talking about? Because you can go get a job, nigga. So you brought them kids in there. I sure did, but they're not going to disrespect me. Not in mine that I pay for. The hell you say? That nigga can go get out on their own. If they feel like they can talk like that, they can dip. Because, see, I'm not going to put up with it. I refuse to put up with it. Why would I put up with it? But, see, niggas of this generation feel like you should. That nigga saw, I got trauma, because this, that, there, and the third. Nigga, you's a pussy. But it's only women who really be talking like this about all this childhood trauma. You already hear these people talking about they got childhood trauma. I be wondering, what the hell happened to you niggas? Then when you go to talking to him, ain't nothing happened to this nigga. You just didn't get your way. Nigga ain't cater to you. You know what I'm saying? You got some people who dealt with some stuff in the house, like your people fighting, arguing. You know what I'm talking about? Your daddy suplexing your mama hit niggas upside the head with a pot. You know what I'm talking about? If your parents got divorced, that's some song. Okay, I could get that. You know what I'm saying? Nigga be 35 years old. My daddy wasn't there for me. Nigga, you got 3 kids, nigga. Let that junk go. You know what I'm saying? Go get some help. Ain't that what that Michael Jordan video say? Go get some help. For real though, I be listening to people. I be like, you got some trauma. What the hell wrong with you, nigga? What happened to you? You know what I'm saying? Most of these niggas be acting like this here, man. Ain't nobody touch you.
That's what people make them to believe. Like,
There's something wrong with you.
that's what happened. Oh, that happened to me.
That happened to me too. Oh, definitely. That's why I told you when that girl was like, everybody need therapy. I said, ho, speak for yourself. You know what I'm talking about? I don't need to go to no therapy. I ain't knocking nobody who do, because you know I ain't got no problem with that. But don't tell me everybody need that. That woman told me everybody need that. I say, you need it, ho. You go. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, ain't nothing wrong with me. Because the therapist is going to be back with me. Because they're going to be like, so everything you got to say, it has to deal with you. Who a show there, funky hoe? You got a problem with it? Shoot, it could have been a man. He a funky hoe too. You know what I'm talking about? If you got a problem with me rolling with you, you a funky hoe. You know what I'm talking about? You're a spiritual whore. You like to spread yourself thin. Because anything they going to come up with is, look here, right? If I was to sit with a therapist and they were like, yeah, man, you know, I heard in the Bible that kids got ate by a bear. How does that make you feel they ought to die? That's going to throw them off. So you think that that's not a problem for you? Absolutely not. If it's a problem for you, you ought to die. I know it is, but you know what I'm talking about? I'm just using that as an example because I done talked to you. That's the thing, too. I'm finna pay a nigga to tell me ain't nothing wrong with me. Yeah, and I tell you. I know they would.
Be like somebody should die and be like, yeah, he's a sociopath.
No, they can think what they want. I'd be like, yeah, you keep sinning against God, you ought to die. I say, but see, this is the thing why I twist them up at. When I was sinning against God, I ought to die. I should have died too. So you know what I'm saying? It's equal opportunity there. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm.
Don't hear me locked up.
I ain't gonna be locked up because I show you crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Walk around here, just go to slapping nigga. Bah! That's crazy for you. How about that? You know what I'm see. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. They want you to go see some of the people so they can put you on the meds. Yeah, it ain't just about the money. It ain't about the money. If I can get you on psychotropic meds, you can never think straight. You know what I'm saying? You can never think. The money is a small thing because that's one less critically thinking individual. That's one less productive individual. That's one less person that could be a husband or a wife. That's one less person that could be a friend. That's one less person that could do anything in their community that could affect positive change because you are in a drug-induced stupor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Telling you, man. Yeah, that's no, man. That ain't what you want. Say no to drugs. I'm telling you, I was in prison when niggas getting on them psych meds, and them niggas used to be gone. You know what I'm saying? Sad part is, I done told you this before, I don't even want to mention it. Them niggas get on that junk and do ungodly things. Late night, snort, they're like, I'm on that furrow. Nigga, that ain't no heroin. Them niggas will crush them pills up and snort them and run all night long chasing sodomites. That nigga say, nigga, what? Yes, that's what happened at Jefferson Correctional Institution. But one thing about it, though, I'll tell you this, and I told you before, I can't respect a man who ain't got no discipline in prison. I know you ain't got no discipline on the street. You know what I'm saying? You come in prison and you feel like your situation and circumstance is leads you to be intimate with a man. There's no way that I could trust you on the street. You're an undisciplined individual, not worthy of my respect. You know what I'm talking about? And it ain't because of your intimate dealings with a man. It's your complete and total lack of discipline, allowing your situation and circumstances and environment to dictate how you behave. You know what I'm talking about? And that you will do things necessarily that you wouldn't necessarily do under ordinary circumstances just because you feel like you're in a disadvantaged state. I can't respect you as a man. That's why I don't respect a lot of dudes in the word, because a lot of dudes on the word are only selectively righteous. You know what I'm talking about? They're only righteous based off situation and circumstances. I can't respect that. I won't respect. You're an undisciplined man all the way around the board. An undisciplined man is a dangerous man. And that's a man who can't be trusted because he don't even trust himself. You know what I'm talking about? And that's dead serious. I ain't being funny. I'm dead serious. An undisciplined man can't even maintain to the standards that he claimed he hold for himself. So that means he won't hold tight to any brother, any family. He ain't gonna do it. Because situation and circumstances will dictate his discipline. Can't trust a nigga like that. Revelation 12:7. And there was war in Shamahim. Mikael and his Malachim fought against the serpent. The serpent fought and his Malachim and prevailed not. Neither was there a place found anymore in Shamahim. And that great serpent was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Hashatan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his Malachim were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in Shamahim, now has come salvation and strength, the Malkuth of our Elohim and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before Elohim day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. You see how he said they overcame him with the what? The blood of the Lamb and what else? The word. I overcame you by what? The promise, because it's the covenant, overcame you by the covenant and the word. That's all you need to beat the devil. You don't need nothing else. All you need is the covenant and the word. That's all you need. Because that's, you know, people say, I plead the blood of Jesus. You're really just saying that you plead the covenant, the agreement. That's what you're trying to seek to invoke, that Yahuwah will uphold his end of the agreement because you're upholding your end. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're talking about the blood, you're only talking about a covenant. That's it. That's really what you're referring to. You know what I'm saying? Because you know a lot of people, I plead the blood and this, that. It's bruised that pray like that or speak like that. And there's nothing wrong with speaking like that. I'm talking about having an understanding of what that means. You know what I'm saying? Because what he said, take, this is my blood. For what? So you're speaking of the covenant. And the covenant is based off of promises. Even the covenant that he entered in with your forefathers, even though the law was written on it, there were still promises made, because there was a promise made to Abraham, and there was a promise made to Isaac, and there was a promise made to Jacob, and there was promises made to the sons of Yasharal upon their arrival into the land. There was promises made to them. You know what I'm talking about? That's why Paul makes that statement in Romans 9. Let's take a look at it. 9:1, I believe. Or I might just get straight. Yeah, 9:1 is fine. I'm finna get ready to wrap it up anyway, because it's almost 11:30. You tired? You look like you had a long day. You had a long shift. They worked you hard at the factory today. Just a lot of sun and books for you. I need to be looking like he would be like, man, screw all you. That's how he be looking. I ain't saying that he say that. He just be looking like he be mad. He probably ain't even that mad. You know what I'm talking about? That nigga look like, wow, I kick off you niggas.
Because he like hit them bothering.
Bro, that's 5 minutes.
Man, little Bible study over that chilling, man.
He's an antagonist, but he don't know how to let it go, but he do stuff.
He said he don't let it go, huh? And they say, Mama, that nigga kicked me on my toe 2 weeks ago. I don't like that jump.
You didn't let that jump go. You understand me? You being emotional. Chill out. I ain't trying to hit you quiet.
Romans 9:1. I say the truth in the Mashiach, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Ruach HaKodesh. Though I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart, for I could wish that myself were accursed from a Mashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are of Yasharal, to whom the adoption, the esteem, the covenants, the giving of the law, and the service, and the promises, who's the fathers, and of whom concerning the flesh, Hamashiach, who is over all, Elohim Baruch forever, amen. See, these are the things when you're talking about the blood, you're talking about, because remember what happened in Exodus 24, you're talking about a covenant agreement. And that covenant agreement is going to be based upon a belief in the promise. So when you're looking at overcoming by the blood and the lamb and the testimony, it's almost, you could say, double faith. Because that's what you overcoming by is with faith. So when you're saying you pleading the blood, you speaking of faith, because even the blood you put on the doorpost, you put it up there because of faith. That's really what that really means. I'm just talking about understanding. Again, I have to reiterate that it's not a knock if you said I plead the blood, whatever people say. There's nothing wrong with the statement, but have understanding on why you're saying it. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Just have some understanding. It's all about having the insight. Because like I say, some stuff that Christians say and do is not necessarily wrong. They just don't have an understanding. You know what I'm saying? You need to have an understanding. Let's come back to Psalms 119. What was that? 157. Psalms 119 and 157. Many my persecutors and my enemies, I do not decline from your testimonies. All that persecution that Yahushua faced, he never went against the word. Same with Moses. He never went against the word. He said, I beheld the transgressors and was grieved because they kept not your word. See, that's what could take you back to that Luke 19 when he wept over the city. And it could take you back to when he looked upon them and said, Abba, forgive them, for they know not what they do, because he was grieved in his spirit. They don't hold to the word. Consider how I love your precepts. Quicken me, O Yahuwah, according to your love and kindness. Your word is true from the beginning. Every one of your righteous judgments forever. That's it again. When you sit back and you look at it, when it came through to his persecution and him overcoming it, he said, I love my Abba loved me. He's saying, because you love me, therefore he loved you. But then also when he look at it, your word is true from the beginning. And he said, every one of your righteous or your Zadok Mishpat is forever. See, that's a trust in the promise that gives you. That's why he say one jot or one tittle. There's nothing of this man's faith, sufferings, and ability to overcome according to word. That's not going to pass. See, when heaven and earth pass, then all things are completed. See, that's what people don't understand. When heaven and earth pass, everything is done. See, when Yahushua come on the earth, it don't say that heaven and earth pass, does it? Because everything is not completed. See, he didn't notice the one thing that he said. I don't come to destroy the law. I come to what? Fulfill it. So what was he coming to do? He was coming to fulfill what was written of him. Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It's written of me. Search the scripture. You notice that when he said that, if you would have believed who? Moses, you would have believed me. Notice that when he went to a direct reference on scriptures to believe, he went to the law, not necessarily the prophets. Of course, remember when he resurrected from the dead, everything that was written in what? The law of Moses and the prophets concerning me. When it came to those things, he completed them. But then he came with this one here. Till heaven and earth pass, he said not a single solitary thing from this law, whether Yod or Raj, whether Yod or Dalit, is going to dissipate until all be completed. Everything won't be completed till the Father get here. But Yahuwah willing, on tomorrow, we'll look more into specifics in the kingdom itself. Hallelujah for Yahushua and the word. I appreciate y'all time this evening. Did y'all understand all that there? Was it clear for you? No, you just saying that. You don't really mean it.
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do? My gosh.
Stressed out.
Are you stressed out? At your age? What's got you stressed, huh? That boy said, I'm stressed out. You ain't got no job. You ain't got no bills.
I'm tired.
And that's stressing you. I understand.
Tired of what?
Are you tired? Or are you tired like I want to go to bed?
Tired.
Just say it's okay.
It's probably a tablet, man.
That boy said, I'm tired. I'm tired of you asking me these damn questions. That's what I'm tired of. Leave me alone. But hey, okay, we'll motor it down. You can look over Isaiah 60 and see what you see. And we'll try to grab other things, the elements that speak of the kingdom at large, so you can get a snapshot and we pretty much almost narrowed it, because I don't want us to have to go in Ezekiel chapter 40 and 48 again, because that's extensive and we done already did that. You can only really dip in and dip out. You know what I'm saying? But just to get an idea. I think y'all got a good idea of the difference between the two. But you know, you can grab your Isaiah 65 and 66 while you're at it. I did say 60. Yeah, I'll give you something extra. You know what I'm saying? There's a few things in there. You know what I'm talking about? And a couple other places. And we'll round it on out and probably just walk off on that. I know we referenced it a little bit Wednesday. We didn't really discuss it tonight. I think it was laid out pretty plain Wednesday that the law of Moses wouldn't be kept in New Jerusalem, but it would be kept in the kingdom of Hamashiach. Because if the nation, remember, right, Feast of Tabernacles, they got to come up. So that show you that the law is being kept in the kingdom of Hamashiach. But when you're dealing with, there wouldn't be a need for a Feast of Tabernacles in the kingdom of heaven because everybody going to be worshiping before Elohim every single solitary day. You know what I'm talking about? And there's things that we'll look at in that when they talk about them keeping the Sabbath, new moons, and stuff like that in Ezekiel. And it's not to say that feast, like what would be the purpose of keeping Passover in an everlasting kingdom? All things, remember, he said the law will pass away when heaven and earth pass away. Ain't that what it said? So then there's no need for you to do those things. Because that's passed away. And why is it passed away? Because everyone is righteous. Yes.
Is Ezekiel 39, that's after?
That is, and I meant to read that this evening and I didn't. So I probably have to do it tomorrow. Ezekiel 39 is dealing with when he tells them to go bury all the bodies. And then he say, if you see a bone, set a mark about a bone because they got to cleanse the land out. And the land has to be cleansed out for the preparation of the Father. We've discussed that before when we went through it the first time. Let me run this down so my memory serves me right. You got Ezekiel 35, and you talking about Esau. And we done looked at that Ezekiel 35 and see how that Esau is lining up with the beast. I can't recall Ezekiel 36 subject matter off the top of my head right now at this moment. But you know, Ezekiel 37 is a resurrection of the dead because it started dealing with the dry bones. Then you go to Ezekiel 38, it's talking about the wrath that will fall on Gog and Magog. But then in 39 is dealing with the cleaning up of the body, and also one element that we'll probably have to look at on tomorrow, just because Yahuwah willing, just because that is an aspect. He tells him to destroy all the weapons of war. And that's also mentioned in the prophet Joel in the 3rd chapter, because there will be no more war once Gog and Magog is destroyed. It also shows you the point of what I mentioned y'all with Deuteronomy 24 about when a man take a wife that he don't have to go to war, make any business. That's why for a whole year, and you got to remember, he kept the law because Hamashiach didn't even stay with his wife for a whole year to cheer up. He stayed with her for a day. You know what I'm talking about? See, some people are like, that's 1,000 years. To you, not to them. To them, that was one day. So he didn't break that law. That's why Hamashiach don't fight Gog and Magog upon them being deceived by Satan, because the law say that he got to spend a whole year without having to go to war to cheer up his wife. Who will keep his law every time? You know what I'm talking about? See, that's the stuff that I be meaning on. Not with y'all, like y'all just here. That's the stuff that you have to pay attention to, that nuance in the small things and the little things people overlook that. You know what I'm saying? Because if the people come back, they don't even know what he's talking about. They're like this here. Who cares? Who are you? That's what you have to sit back like, nigga, who are you? Let me tell you something, right? If somebody come and tell you something you talking about word-wise is wrong, and the only thing they can say is you wrong and not have any understanding to give a different perspective, who are you? I'm not listening to you, because you didn't even lead off the way that somebody who would have a proper understanding would lead with. All you gonna come and tell me how I'm wrong, get emotional, and grit your teeth and stamp your feet. Nigga, get the hell out of here, nigga. I'm not listening to you. You got a woman's heart. Because if you was a man and you say, nah, brother, that ain't right. Let me show you this, that, there, and the third. Man, I remember first talking to dudes about how the Lord is Lucifer, and niggas just lost their mind. And then you just ask them one simple question. Where you believe that and where you got it from? Now they looking at you stupid. You know what I'm talking about? Then they're going to look at you because that is the devil. But where you got that from? Who told you that? You know what I'm talking about? Because now Lil Johnny found the actual book, but the doctrine itself was perpetrated by the Catholic Church. They the one who pushed it. You know what I'm talking about? A dude who ain't had no affiliation with no church wrote a book and said Lucifer was the devil. And then the Catholic Church took that and pushed it. And you got people in 2022 still regurgitating that, not realizing that you got that from a white man.
When they walk in the White House with the shirt on, me and Mike was like, "What that you? You got a shirt."
Yeah, because they had made shirts like that specifically to be provocative. Yeah. I don't even know. No, I mean, it's a shame, but it's not a shame in regards to people, because when it comes to certain stuff with the word, most people aren't that skilled in the text. So when people say certain things, nobody asks where you got that from. Yeah, it's the same thing with the rapture. The rapture was made by a man named John Nelson Darby. He came up with that. That ain't in the book. A white dude came up with that who broke off from another church, and then he made something up. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you know, if you tell a lie long enough, you know what I'm saying, and enough people repeat it, then people believe it. You know what I'm talking about? Because I know, man, shoot, Easter tell. I remember the first time I told Easter, though, he said, that's a hard saying. He said, well, I got to look at that. Because you ain't never heard that before. You know what I'm saying? I remember the first time I was on a dude blog talking about that, man. That nigga was like, bro, see this? I said, bro, I wouldn't tell you that. I said, bro, I got 45. I got 45 precepts for you right now, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I wouldn't even get on your platform and say this if I ain't have information to back it up. This ain't to be provocative, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, we study text, bro. What are you talking about? Like, the one thing I tell you all the time, it say the sides of the north. If you ask a nigga where the sides of the north is, they tell you that's in heaven. I said, well, nigga, where you got that from? It's in heaven, brother. You ain't know the sides of the north. See the mountain in heaven, and then he want to come in the side of the north. It's a literal conversation I done had. Then you show him Psalms 48, and it say the city of situation, the great Jerusalem, in the sides of the north. Nigga sitting here looking at you stupid. Well, nigga, the book just told you the sides of the north is the gate in Jerusalem. Nigga, what are you talking about? He said he wanted to be like God. That was pride. I say, didn't Yahushua say he wanted to be like God? Didn't they want to kill him for that? Yeah. So what's the difference, nigga? Same way they'll read Ezekiel 28, that's the devil. It said, boy, he had more wisdom than Daniel. You mean to tell me you say the devil got more wisdom than a man who's greatly beloved? And you telling me that's the devil, nigga? And I'm supposed to believe that? But you know why? Because people give more credit to the devil than they give to Yahuwah. A lot of niggas think the devil got more power than Yahuwah got, and they say they believe in Yahuwah, believe it or not. I'm telling you, it's a lot of people who say they believe the book that believe Satan got more power than Yahuwah do. Because that's all who they want to talk about. You know what I'm talking about? Say they ain't got no power. You seen what it said when he got cast down. He said that all Satan do is accuse and lie. You know what that sounds like? A raggedy, foot dragging, slut bucket hoe. Because that's all raggedy hoes do, is walk around and accuse and lie. That's all they do. You know, girl, she be over there doing this. Girl, you know, she be over there doing that. That's all Satan do. That's all the power he got is to accuse and lie. Why you giving so much credit to a nigga who gossip and lie? Because at the end of the day, that's what he do. That means at his core, Satan is a hoe. He got the heart of a woman. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man. Why you give a nigga that much credit who can't do nothing but accuse and lie? When you look at Satan in the text, that's all he doing, ain't it? Accusing and lying. And tempting. And he don't even be meddling. Because all he doing is tempting a nigga to do something that he already wanted to do. Better put a jacket on. You're quite comfortable in here, sir. You low on iron? But hey, I appreciate y'all though, man. Love y'all, man. Bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Yahuwah willing, till tomorrow. Yeah, it was a dude.